family operated with 10 years proven experience with construction and concrete coatings. From commercial to industrial, we do it all with the best warranty, ASTM proven products, and the best prices. Check us out at WeDoConcreteCoatingsLLC.com. We Do Concrete Coatings, Louisiana.
Call my dad today. 225-400-3835.
Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7970.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning, Baton Rouge. It is 7 a.m. on this Mardi Gras Tuesday. Hopefully you're up with us right now. It is going to be 62 degrees, maybe a lot of rain. So if you're out there, get your umbrellas. And we're going to talk on this hour of OTB. We're going to talk some LSU sports, a little bit of Saints maybe. No Derek Carr. So let's get this show started.
Let's go, baby, let's go.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
They said I gotta come off the bench.
Now, here's Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Welcome into a Tuesday edition of Off the Bench. Taylor Sharp here with you, filling in for Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert. We got Alondra Villarreal on the audio board. Jordan Kitchens filling in on the video board. Thanks for joining us here on this Fat Tuesday. Happy Mardi Gras to everyone out there that is out and about, or if you are listening at home. Guys, how we doing on this Mardi Gras? Alondra, big holiday for you. We know both of us are super into parades and all of that.
I'm super hyped up. Can't wait to get down to New Orleans later and catch me some beads. I'm going to be all on the parade route. Just ready.
You know what you have to do to get the good beads, right?
What?
Ask for them.
Yeah.
Obviously.
That's all I gotta do. You just gotta
anything
ask.
inappropriate,
Yeah, what are they
guys.
going to say? No? You're going to tell me yes.
Jordan, look at me.
That's a lie.
so-
I'm not
so
going
Cassie-
anywhere.
Cassie's big into Mardi Gras because she's from New Orleans.
Yeah.
You are also from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Give me your Mardi Gras vibes. What are your thoughts?
I'm not really. I used to be a Mardi Gras guy, like back in high school, early
What
in
happened?
college.
Traumatic experience.
Well, majority-wise, the problem is when you lose that one person in the friend group that was willing to drive everybody around, then you don't have to rely on yourself so you can really partake in the activities. That's when I was really in my peak,
Right.
Probably right before COVID. So, a lot of my friends didn't moved out of the state and all that, so I don't really have that luxury. Now it's more I would have to either Uber out there or, tag along.
Well,
why can't you just drive?
Oh, no. Driving is dead. Driving out there is dead. Super dead. As somebody from the city, there's no way in the world I'm just parking my car somewhere. Nah. No chance. No chance.
it's appropriate we're talking LSU today, guys.
Yes.
Do either of you know how LSU got their colors?
Yeah, because T-Bob kept talking about it last week.
Jordan,
they were
going
to play
No,
Tulane.
I do not know. This is new to me. I don't know at all.
They were going to play Tulane, and green was taken. So they just had purple and yellow.
T-Bob's almost right.
Oh, okay.
He's almost correct.
Well,
so
that was relayed from T-Bob.
Yes.
Yeah. So you got to take it with a,
He was the one who gave me this idea, and I was like, let me look it up and confirm. Of course, he was about 80% correct.
It's always like a half-truth with him.
Yeah. Okay, so Dr. Charles Coates, he became the school's first football coach, all that Coates Hall at LSU named after him.
Okay.
He said that they had to have some colors for their football team. Him and Ralph Pleasant, who became a governor of Louisiana later on, and a couple other guys went to a place called Raymond's Store in downtown Baton Rouge.
Yes.
When they got to the store happened to be stocking up for Mardi Gras. And they said, we need all of this ribbon.
During football season?
We're buying it out. No, this was like in February. They were doing it for baseball following.
Gotcha.
Like they started it at the first of the year.
Yeah.
And green had not yet come in to the department store. They only had purple and gold. They bought up all the purple and gold. And that's how the color started because David Boyd, he was the first president of the university. He actually declared LSU's official colors blue and white.
Ew.
But they never actually had any official uniforms at that time because they didn't have a ton of sports teams.
Yes.
He was just like, okay, our official colors are going to be blue and white.
Yeah.
And then he returned years later, saw it was purple and gold, and was like, I actually like it. So it stuck.
Huh.
Well,
How about that? A little Mardi Gras for you this morning.
That's a good nugget. But honestly, we should be happy LSU did not go blue and white. That's atrocious.
It's really generic.
Yeah, it's
really generic, right?
Yeah.
Also, guys, be on your toes. I'm going to throw both of you random Mardi Gras facts throughout the show, and you guys got to get them right. Mardi Gras trivia question, just randomly. You don't know when they're coming.
Hey, we're here.
You don't know when they're coming.
Process of elimination is what I'm going to use.
All right, look, let's dive right into it. Yesterday, I kind of gave you a overview of all of spring football. It will begin on Saturday for your LSU Tigers. But what I want to do the rest of the week, one day a week, I want to kind of break down a position going into spring. What's it going to look like at spring practice? What can it look like coming back around to the fall? And before we do that, let's get this show started.
It's time to get to work, courtesy of Tiger Labor and Staffing, where they can help take care of screening, training, payroll, and more. Now, for starters.
So today I want to highlight the LSU running back room for 2025. So Caden Durham is obviously your top running back, right? He kind of burst onto the scene in that South Carolina game week 3, really never looked back. He had over 750 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns in 12 games, 5.5 yards per carry, by the way. Also close to 300 yards receiving, another couple touchdowns through the air as well. Look, he brought life to an offense that was struggling to run the ball. You saw it from game 1. LSU couldn't get anything going against USC. They had to turn to John Emery. He got a little bit of life, but he tore his knee in that game. They had to convert Jawan Johnson to running back. When Caden Durham got in there, everything changed. We know who your top back is this year. I think he has the ability to be an all-SEC style running back. I think he is that good. But what's behind Caden Durham is a little bit more important because Josh Williams is gone. And look, I get it. A lot of people have a lot of different things to say about Josh Williams. Should he been in on certain situations? I thought Josh Williams was so valuable to this team. Look, his numbers don't jump off the page. I mean, 1,400 yards and 17 touchdowns in 5 seasons at LSU. But it's what he did in big moments, right? We saw him in the Alabama game 2 years ago with Jaden Daniels. He threw the block to help Daniels score. He had a good game as well. He was so valuable on short yardage. He was an excellent pass blocker. He could catch the ball out of the backfield, as I just mentioned. I mean, he had 600 yards receiving in his LSU career. So, I mean, this is a guy that had really good hands out of the backfield. Could really do everything. Wasn't phenomenal at one aspect of football, but you could rely on him to do pretty much anything, and he was there to do it for you. The first guy we're going to mention is Caleb Jackson. Look, this is his 3rd year in the program. He's a guy that obviously looks the part, but we've been waiting for him to break out, and it just hasn't happened yet. His play actually decreased this year than it did 2 years ago as a freshman. Again, he's certainly talented. He just hasn't been able to put it all together. Can he do it? Because I got to be honest, I thought he looked a little heavy last year, maybe a little bit out of shape. Now, who's to say he can't get back to that freshman form? It's just something that we're going to need to see. There was a lot of hype around Jackson coming into last season because of the flashes we saw from him as a freshman, right? We're like, okay, he's only going to get bigger, stronger, faster, more comfortable with this offense. And then he takes a step back, and it's a little disheartening. Well, enter Harlem Berry, the number 1 running back in the country. He's about as explosive as it gets. Guys, when I bring up these numbers, I need you to understand that this is not career. This is what he did his senior year in high school. He was Louisiana's Gatorade Player of the Year as a senior. 2,178 yards, 41 rushing touchdowns on 12 yards per carry. I get it. He played in a lower A level of football in Louisiana. I don't give a crap who you're playing. You put up those kind of numbers, you can play football. He was also a state champion in the 100 and 200 meters twice in his high school career. So the guy can flat out play football. He catches the ball out of the backfield. Everything I just mentioned outside of pass blocking that you're going to lose from Josh Williams, Harlem Berry showed that he could do that and a whole lot more at the college level. But can he have an immediate impact in the Tigers' backfield? He's going to be on campus for spring football. You're going to be able to see him. You're going to hear reports about him in spring. He is going to be out there. Again, he's that early enrollee. Can he pass up Caleb Jackson? You also have JT Lindsey, who's not going to be here in the spring, but look, JT Lindsey's no slouch as well. I mean, he led his team to a state championship appearance this year. They didn't win it, but I mean, he guided them all the way there. And look, as a junior, he was really good as well. I mean, he had 1,700 yards, 26 touchdowns as a junior. He was named All-State at the 5A level. He posted a 10.85 in the 100-meter as a junior in high school. He's another guy who's a track guy. He's 5'11", he's 185. So he's a little bit lighter. But look, he can put on 10 pounds as long as it doesn't take away from that speed he has. Both of these guys coming in, super, super talented guys. So here's my issue. Let's say, because look, Caden Durham, I'm going to go ahead and pencil him in as RB1. Let's say Harlem Berry gets those RB2 reps over a Caleb Jackson in spring. Jackson already knows JT Lindsey's coming in the fall. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm not saying I want this to happen or I'm predicting this to happen. Let's just say hypothetically, Caleb Jackson enters the transfer portal. You still have that spring window coming up. He knows now that he's the third-team guy behind Durham and Berry. You still got JT Lindsey coming in. So what if he leaves? That only leaves you with 3 running backs. But it actually doesn't. And I know that a lot of people are going to, kind of scoff at the notion of a preferred walk-on. However, you got to remember, soon scholarships are going to go from 85 to 105. I imagine that's going to change a few things. Enter Reed Chauvin, a kid from right here in Baton Rouge, played at Episcopal High School. Reed put up in high school 4,000 rushing yards and 63 touchdowns. Now, he played fullback, but they ran that wing tee. So he was kind of their primary running back there anyways. Back-to-back 2,000-yard rushing seasons and back-to-back 25 touchdown seasons. He's outstanding. Also, he is a state champion power lifter. He was a runner-up as a freshman. He took the title during his sophomore and junior seasons. He has 9 school powerlifting records. So this is a guy, look, he's going to come in at LSU 5'8", 5'9", hovering around 200, 205 pounds. But the guy can play. I mean, he played right here in Baton Rouge. He played in a tough district with Episcopal. Look, he was first-team all-district twice as a junior and a senior. Player of the week number of times. This is a guy that can play football. This is not your normal walk-on. We talked about when Emil Picarello signed here as a quarterback, right? He passed up a lot of small offers to come to LSU. It's his dream school. Reed Chauvin did the same thing. He's a guy that had offers to go play at a bunch of smaller schools, very similar to a Josh Williams. Go look at Josh Williams when he got here to LSU. He was about 5'9", 195 pounds. That's about where Reed Chauvin's going to be when he comes in here as a freshman. This is a guy that keep an eye on. Now, he's not going to be here in spring. He'll be here for summer workouts, and then when fall football rolls around, he'll be there. So if Caleb Jackson decides to transfer, in case he gets passed up, going into the fall, you'll still have Caden Durham, Harlem Berry, JT Lindsey, and Reed Chauvin. And I get it. The kid's a preferred walk-on, but if he can carve out a nice role for himself, that's still 4 running backs right there. That way you don't have to dip in the portal late. This is a position battle really between Harlem Berry and Caleb Jackson that I'm going to be watching very closely in the spring, because that battle is going to tell you a lot on whether or not Caleb Jackson sticks around, whether or not he finds other opportunities elsewhere. If that happens, that could open the door for guys like JT Lindsey and Reed Chauvin. All right, look, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, a couple college football topics I want to hit. Some possible rule changes coming to the faking injuries. I'm going to get Alondra and Jordan's thoughts on that. Also, Hard Knocks announced they might be following a new team. However, it's not a team in the NFL. We'll get into that as well. That's coming up on the other side here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
Yeah, look at my guy Hunter Burns in the chat. Go Pels, baby. That's right. Go Pels and go Tommies. Tommy's when it's residing. GEAUX Tommies.com. What about this? Go Bearded. Okay, Tommy Kissinger, not just a window, Hardy Plank Vinyl Siding, water vinyl windows, any type of door expert. He is an expert at all that. If you need any of that, energy efficient options, lifetime warranties, they got you. He also has a sick beard, but he realized he was getting into the beard game. He didn't have the product that he needed. And so he started a company, Go Bearded, GEAUXbearded.com. And if you want to live your best bearded life, live it to the fullest, grow it to the fullest, you need those products. GoBearded.com, GoTommies.com.
Yeah, when you go to GoTommies.com, you'll see what they can do for you. Always tell you there's great testimonials and galleries of what they've done in the greater Baton Rouge area, but also they can customize your job. Have Tommy and the team come out, tell them what you're looking for, and they will get it done. GoTommies.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111.
Back to sports talk. Maybe. Off the bench.
Alondra has decided officially what she is giving up for Mardi Gras or for Lent.
For Lent.
I remember her and Cassie yesterday were like, "Yeah, we're not giving anything up."
No, that was Cassie.
You hadn't decided yet.
Yeah.
Cassie's like, "I'm not giving anything up."
Yeah.
All right, what did we decide?
Okay, so also one thing about Lent is that like you don't have to give something up. You can also like say, "Oh, I'm not gonna cuss for 40 days," or "I'm gonna commit to doing this for 40 days," or whatever. Like it doesn't have to be like you're giving something up. But I decided I'm going to give up soda because the Dr. Pepper addiction is real. But also, I was telling y'all before we came back from break, I didn't finish the story, that I saw this thing on Facebook that I think I'm going to do too. This girl is going to do like a mile, like so 40 miles in 40 days. So she's going to run a mile a day. And while she's like running the mile, she's going to like listen to a certain prayer or like pray the rosary while she's doing it. So I think I'm going to do that too.
Get a little fitness involved as well.
Yeah.
I just sent out a text message.
God.
Trying to figure out what T-Bob is giving up for Lent because that fascinates me.
Is he giving something up? Did he give something up last year?
I don't know.
Nah,
I don't know. I can't imagine what T-Bob would give up for Lent.
I don't.
He seems like a very routine person. Sausage. Well, Brat Summer is over. So
it like went into brat fall though.
That very well could be it.
Obsession with sausage. Like it's every time you hear him, what is a go-to meal? Something that includes some type of sausage. Every time.
Jordan, are you giving something up?
Oh no, I'm not even gonna waste God's time and lie to him and be like, yeah, I'm giving this up. It's just not. He knows my heart. He knows I'm just not gonna get it done. So it's like I'm not even gonna waste God's time. God know I'm gonna be like, yeah, you got a week out of me. It's wraps. I can't even do it.
Yeah, that seems pretty much
that
on
was
par.
Cassie yesterday. Cassie was like, I can't give up Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Cassie was like, the only thing I could give up will be Chick-fil-A, and it's just too good, so I can't do it.
Jesus gave up his life, man.
Look, shout out, thank you, Jesus. We needed that, but I'm not you. I'm not perfect. I can't do it. I just my soul is corrupted. I'm sorry, just can't do it.
Impossible transition into this next topic.
You know how you could have transitioned? You could have hit us with another trivia question.
Okay, okay. Let's get one.
All right,
let's get one.
All right,
your first trivia question of the day.
Yes.
What does purple, green, and gold signify in Mardi Gras?
Oh, I feel like Jordan should know this.
Holy smokes!
I don't know. I have no idea.
Let the good times roll, baby.
That would be a saying, not colors, but very close.
Fun and more fun.
So
Royalty.
Purple is justice.
Oh my goodness.
Green is faith, and gold is power.
I knew one of them was
Dude,
faith.
who is looking? That's like something you get off a popsicle stick or something. Yeah.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know where I got it?
Where?
Parade.com.
I'm about to say some type of Mardi Gras 101.com or something.
Parade.com. Oh, for what it's worth, T-Bob says, I'm giving up stuff for Lent.
Thank
so
you.
that is what he's giving up. T-Bob's not giving up anything.
Yes.
Not surprising
He
in the
should
slightest.
try to be nicer to you during Lent.
Can he do that for 40 days?
I don't know.
Let me back up. Can T-Bob do that for 40 minutes?
No.
Yes.
You got to think there's 2 days that he's not doing it. There's like the rest of this week that he's not doing it. And then the weekend, there's 2 days that he doesn't like. So
okay.
he might just have to extend it to what? How many weeks is 40 days? 7?
7.5. Yeah. No,
so whatever that is, I
it.
can't do the math.
Well, I'm terrible at math too, so I'm not even gonna be like, oh. But at the same time, Taylor, you got to look at it like this. You and T-Bob have a good relationship. Like outside, like y'all do what y'all do on air. Outside of this, guys, they're like best buds. They're best buds. I promise.
I hate T-Bob. That's not even true. You're lying.
Listen.
How are you gonna lie on Mardi Gras, Jordan?
Because hey, I know what I'm sitting here. I see the office dynamic every day. They're best of buzz, guys. They're best of buzz. Y'all can don't buy into the script they're running. The jig is up. I'm exposing.
Speaking of being exposed, players who are faking injuries might have finally been exposed.
Yes.
How about that? How about that for a transition? So the NCAA Football Rules Committee has proposed a timeout to be charged whenever medical personnel enters the field to evaluate players after the ball has been spotted. Teams without timeouts will be assessed a 5-yard delay of game penalty. So what this is trying to prevent is, you see it all the time. Shout out Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. This is your fault. Right when the ball is spotted, right before the snap, a player just kind of lays down, to stop the clock, give your defense time to. Yes, you will be charged a timeout. A timeout will be taken away from you if medical professionals deem that not a real injury, and if you don't have any timeouts left, it will be a 5-yard delay of game. The committee says if a player that's struggling and the official stops the clock to get that player out, we will not invoke a timeout. However, there are these plays where the ball's down, the defense is still trying to get to their side of the ball, and a player just falls down randomly. Those are the type of plays that we do not want, that we think is bad look, and we will think this rule will address it. I am all for this. I know when we talked about this, when this rule was first proposed, I brought up the point of like, hey, now a player has to sit out a play. What if they had to sit out the remainder of the drive? But the more and more I thought about that, you could just put in a guy that you know is not going to play that much. If he sits out the rest of the drive, I mean, who really cares? He doesn't make that big of an impact for your team anyways. I appreciate the NCAA trying to do something about this. It's one of those things that I personally believe is bad for the game. I got to be honest with you guys. I don't know how enforceable this rule actually is. I don't know how one can determine whether a player is injured or not. I can look at it and take a pretty much educated guess and be 90% certain that that dude's just flopping to give his defense extra time. But you're never going to know for certain. And it's only going to take that one time where a player is actually hurt, a team has to lose a timeout, they need that timeout at the end of the game, they wind up losing over a legitimate injury for this rule to be overturned. It reminds me a lot of the targeting rule, how there's so much gray area in it, right? Like now we talk about, okay, well, was there intent behind the hit? How the hell are you going to know if there was intent behind the hit? Jordan, if I'm an official and I go up to you and be like, Mr. Kitchens, did you mean to target on that play? What was your response be?
Like, no, Mr. Official. I love football.
There you go. You're not going to, you can't really tell with 100% certainty. And I get it, guys. You can be like, oh, well, you can look at it and tell. Sure. But there's always that shadow of a doubt to where you don't know. I love that they're trying to do this. I don't know what the answer is. So I'm not a guy that's going to sit up here and be like, this is the wrong way to do it. You got to flip it. You got to do it this way. I don't know what can be done. Outside of removing that guy, making him sit the rest of the drive, maybe that is it. And sure, it'll hurt the team, and maybe there is a legitimate injury and your guy has to sit out the rest of the drive. Tough. Sometimes the bad eggs have to ruin it for everybody else. I don't know if taking away a timeout is the proper way to do it because, again, it's only going to take that one time where a team loses because they don't have a timeout and their guy was legitimately injured for this entire rule to blow up. And this is one of those rules I would like to see last. I feel like if they do something like this, the rule's not going to last. They're going to abolish it in about 2 or 3 years. I don't know what you do about it. I'm not sure it's this, though. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Like, is this an enforceable rule in college football?
I say it like this. Something needs to be done. Something needed to be done.
Yes.
You know, that Ole Miss LSU game, what this is about was terrible. Terrible. And you knew it was coming. You knew it, but it sucks because we're in a position where you have to do something. So you're right. It is going to get to the point where somebody is actually going to be hurt. And it's like, well, he's actually hurt and we're losing the timeout and we lose the game and all that. So it's going to take that one instance where that's going to happen, but something needed to be done. So maybe it's just going to get rid of the egregious ones. You know, the guys like you just said, just flopping and they hurt. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I think that it makes sense. I just, like you said, I don't know how you can enforce it.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, I swear, like I'm really hurt. How do you know for a fact that they're faking it? Like I know that we can say like, oh, you can tell that they're faking it, but like, how do you know for a fact?
Because a spontaneous cramp could cause that.
Right.
It could cause you to be like, oh crap, like I'm cramping right now, I got to lay down.
And like the punishment makes sense because that's what they're doing. They're taking a timeout or delaying the game.
Yes.
So that makes sense. It's just how do you enforce it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only question.
There are certain teams that abuse this loophole a lot more than others. Like, okay, a stat came out. It was when LSU was playing Ole Miss during the middle of the game. Ole Miss had 37 stoppages due to injury on the defensive side of the ball. The next highest team in the country had like 9. I mean, they were an incredible outlier. I think this rule goes after Ole Miss more than other teams, which I'm perfectly okay with. I don't know how you enforce this. All right, look, before we go to break, I want to bring this up real quick. Hard Knocks might be coming to the college ranks.
Yeah.
To the University of North Carolina to follow around Bill Belichick.
I think it's lit, man.
It is. However, this was kind of my big concern when Bill Belichick took this job. Is he just going to try to make this like the NFL? Now, I will say college football now is closer to the NFL game than it ever has been before. But they keep saying, okay, well, less and less teams are interested. I get it. In my opinion, this goes back to the behind-the-scenes Joe Shane and the New York Giants.
Yeah.
They got clowned an entire offseason. You saw Joe Shane's kids. Each of them picked a different quarterback for him to select. Malik Neighbors a great player. Doesn't have anybody to throw him the ball. Then he says, we got to let Saquon walk. Nobody's going to pay Saquon that type of money. And then he goes, man, I'm going to be sick if he goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. Spoiler alert, he went to the Philadelphia Eagles and he won a Super Bowl.
Yikes.
Is this a good idea? I have mixed feelings about it. I would love it. I think this is excellent for viewership purposes.
Yes.
North Carolina has a general manager now. Michael Lombardi is their general manager. He seems like he is all for it. I will say, if there is a coach to follow around in college football, that knows how this works, that knows how to handle himself in the behind-the-scenes aspect, it is Bill Belichick because he's done it for 20 years in the NFL. You guys like this?
I love it.
UNC Hard Knocks. So it's going to be off-season, too. So it'll be like between spring and fall practice.
Yeah, I love it. I think Bill's playing the game. One, recruits are going to see this. It's going to open up the world to what I got going on. Because, everybody thinks Bill Belichick is this, demon. I just call it what it is. I watched Stephen Ridley on Julian Edelman podcast the other day. Bill Belichick sucks. But this is going to show the world, as I've gotten older, I've lightened up a bit. The whole coaching staff is like his sons. So I think it's going to be really good, man. I love it. I think it's good for UNC. Show them that we're serious. But I think it'll be bad if they're terrible this year. Like if they just actually, the bed, I think it would be a bad look. It's like, look at these guys fooling around. They ain't taking it serious.
That's the thing, right? It's one of those things where, anytime you have a polarizing figure as your head coach, if they do something right, people are going to love him even more. If he does something wrong, they're going to criticize every single move.
Yes.
But North Carolina knew that risk when they hired Bill Belichick.
Yes.
Colorado knew that risk when they hired Deion Sanders. If you hire a high-profile guy, you kind of take the good with the bad. It is what it is. I tell you this, for someone who hadn't watched a Hard Knocks outside of the New York Giants in a number of years, I'll tune in.
I'll be there.
I'll do that. I think it's great for Hard Knocks.
Yes.
You want to see the difference between the cut because we hear about the NIL deals and the transfer portal and the payment of players now and all that. We don't really get to see a behind the scenes how it all works. Yeah. We know how it works in the NFL. This would be the first time we would take a deep dive behind the scenes look at it. I'm excited about it.
I'm excited, but I also think one of these kids gonna mess up real bad.
Huh? What?
Oh, you about to say something?
Oh,
no. But
I was going to let you finish your thought.
Oh, no. I think one of these kids going to mess up. It's going to be like, I need more money. And he's like, well, we can't give you too much money. He's like, well, I'm out of here, man. Like, somebody's going to get caught down bad. Like, somebody's going to look like a...
Stuff like that already happens anyways. I mean, you hear about it. You're like, it's always rumors. But, you always hear, oh, well, this guy wanted $400,000 extra. The coaching staff told him no, so he took a hike. I mean, you hear about that extra. Yeah, 100%. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back... Prairie View A&M's brand new football coach has called out Brian Kelly. We'll break that down when we get back here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
There it is, the extra mile on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Jace Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
for over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This time, this place, misused, mistakes, too long, too late. Who was I to make you wait? Just one.
Welcome back to the best morning sports show around. Sorta. It's Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
KTZBlinds.com, KTOZ blinds.com. And I can't tell you enough. And actually, like during the last couple of weeks, our shade has just consistently stayed down that we have in the back of our home. And that's where the sun kind of, before we got it, just really ruined TV viewing during the day. You're trying to watch like a big NFL game or a big baseball game. LSU's got an early one today and you couldn't get it done. Just wasn't the same, right? You got this huge glare on the TV. Well, I didn't think putting something on the exterior of our home would change the interior of our home, but it has certainly done that. Now it's done its original job. Like Harlow loves going out to our little patio. We drop the shade down there. She plays out there, absolutely loves it. It's not as hot, it's not bright, but it has changed the dynamic of our entire home. The house is cooler whenever we have the shade down. They'll do it for you as well. K2ZBlinds.com.
God, what a band. I mean, just banger after banger there. Thank you, Alondra, for that one. That has made my morning so far. I was depressed because Jordan's here, but now my mood has completely turned around.
I could feel it. I was like, Taylor's feeling a little, because Jordan.
That was, yeah. I mean, we go from Cassie to Jordan. I don't know what you do. Okay, there seems to be a lot of talk in the YouTube chat about what body part I should get pierced. I don't know who started this or why. Probably would not get any body part pierced. However, I don't know. I mean, what is the most masculine piercing you could have? I guess just that's what I'm saying. Like, do I have to keep it? I guess, or can I get the septum piercing?
Nah, you should definitely get your ears pierced.
I think maybe just one small ear, and then
what
after
is it,
like
the left ear?
Yeah, get a hoop earring.
Left ear. It would not be. It would not be
right?
a hoop earring. No, it's the left.
So it'd be right for you.
Get the left pierced and get the dangling Saquon Barkley little 26. Get that. Get your little nice little dangling.
Danny Dickinson has one too.
Yeah. Dickinson's fly.
That's fine. Look, that may work for Danny Dickinson.
I don't know. Y'all are both blonde.
Dickinson's fly, bro.
Doesn't work for me. Not really my thing. Okay, look, I want to mention something real quick here. Sports Illustrated put out an article. Brand new head coach for Prairie View A&M, Tremaine Jackson, did an interview with Texas Football Magazine, and he wasn't afraid to take aim at Brian Kelly and some of his out-of-character recruiting moments. He was asked about his recruiting strategy at Prairie View A&M. He said, look, we don't wine and dine guys in recruiting. We give it to you straight up because I don't have time to de-recruit you. You're not going to catch me on Twitter with my hat backwards dancing on a 360 camera with guys. Brian Kelly did that, and he ain't won a national championship yet. Okay, so I wanted to do some digging on that because
I was going to say, I already started digging a little bit too.
Tremaine Jackson has been a head coach for, this will be his 5th year. Coming up, he just got hired back in January to be the Prairie View A&M head coach. He was at Colorado Mesa for 2 years. He was at Valdosta State for 3 years. So he's been a head coach for 5 years. I was looking, and something puzzled me, guys. Tremaine Jackson's never won a national championship either.
No.
He has 2 conference championships at Valdosta State. He's made it to the NCAA Division quarterfinal game, which he lost. Last year, he made it to the D2 championship game, which he lost, which Brian Kelly has also done. So my question is, why make this statement? Why do this? Because you're going to find someone who covers LSU, who follows Brian Kelly, like me. We're going to do a quick resume search of Tremaine Jackson, and we're going to call him out. The guy's been a head coach for 5 years. He's 40-12 overall as a head coach. That's awesome. But stop acting like Brian Kelly can't recruit. I get it. It is easy to make fun of Brian Kelly. So many people did he did the fake Louisiana accent when he said family. He did all of these things. You know, he's come up short in big moments. Sure, whatever. You don't have to like Brian Kelly. But who else made fun of Brian Kelly because of that Twitter video? It was Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin, no natties. Lane Kiffin never played in a conference championship game. Also, Brian Kelly out-recruited Lane Kiffin this year. You go look at the 247 Sports transfer portal rankings. Would anybody like to guess who's number 1? It's LSU. Now, On 3 does this weird composite average player thing. They got LSU at like 5 or 6. Doesn't matter. Anybody who looks at it knows that LSU is one of the top 3 transfer portal classes in all of college football. Why take a shot like this? What have you accomplished as a head coach? Also, the player that he was caught on video doing the dance with originally, because he did it with Walker Howard too. You remember that? But it came out that like Walker Howard thought it was funny. He requested it, and it didn't matter because Walker Howard never played here anyways. The guy that everyone made fun of Brian Kelly for doing that for was Danny Lewis, a tight end. Danny Lewis did not commit to LSU. He went to Alabama. And, of course, the haters, the trolls, whatever you want to call them, came out in force saying this is why he didn't sign with LSU. He went to Alabama because of Brian Kelly. Well, Danny Lewis has played tight end at Alabama for 3 seasons now. He has appeared in 32 games. Danny Lewis, in his 3 years at Alabama, has 1 catch for 5 yards. He has 1 catch for 5 yards.
Did not know he was going to go there. I thought
he also returned a kickoff on a squib kick 1 time for 14 yards. So maybe it's good that Brian Kelly does this because the 2 guys that he missed out on, well, he got Walker Howard, never played here, wound up transferring. He loses out on Danny Lewis, who has been a complete bust at the University of Alabama. Look at the guys he didn't do it with. He just brought in a top 10 recruiting class. I believe it was ranked number 7 as far as his high school recruiting class. He just signed the number 1 transfer portal recruiting class. Maybe it's a good thing that Bama got him because I don't know how much he would have made an impact here in Baton Rouge. I don't really understand why coaches want to take this shot constantly at Brian Kelly. Look, maybe he's an easy target. Look, I don't know Brian Kelly personally. Maybe other coaches just strictly don't get along with him and don't like him because of that reason. But to sit up here and say, oh, well, Brian Kelly's never won a national championship, so that's not, I do it a completely different way. Yeah, you haven't either. Lane Kiffin takes a shot at him. Yeah, Lane, you haven't even played for an SEC championship, so you're even lower on the totem pole than that. This guy's been a head coach for 5 years. And look, 40-12 overall record as a head coach. Shout out to you. Seems like you've done a great job. But you haven't won anything of any significance either. So why strictly point to Brian Kelly, strictly bring up the point that he has not won a national championship when you haven't either? Clearly, your recruiting tactics aren't working any better than Brian Kelly's. And I don't get why you take a shot for something like this. It has never made sense to me. It's one of those things that coaches do. They try to get their name out there. They try to put their name in the media. Look, Lane Kiffin has been excellent on Twitter. I get it. That's kind of his thing. It hasn't helped him win any big games. If Tremaine Jackson goes to Prairie View A&M, let's say he's incredible. He is the power of the SWAC. He goes on to win a national title. It's not going to be because he did or did not call out Brian Kelly. I don't understand what coaches gain from something like this. Maybe he thought it was cool. Tell you what it does do. I'm sitting here talking about it. It gets his name out there. And maybe that was his ultimate goal, because to bring that up with the resume you have, 0 national championships, 5 years as a head coach, 40-12 overall record. Again, good record, but you're new to the game, man. You haven't been a head coach very long at all. You haven't even coached a game at Prairie View A&M yet. I don't really get it. It's just something, look, I know it's something silly to bring up. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way when I saw it. I'm like, okay, let's look up this guy. Let's see how accomplished he is. Because I don't follow Division II football that much. I mean, I'll admit that right now.
No one does.
I go pull it up. I know Valdosta State's typically a pretty good program, which is where he was before Prairie View. And I look at it and I see that, sure, he's won 2 conference championships. Shout out to you. Congratulations, Coach Jackson. No national championships. Nothing of any significance in his 5 years. I mean, again, 40-12 overall as a head coach is great, but I don't really see why you take this shot. I don't get what you get out of this. Okay, look, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, we're going to preview a little bit of LSU baseball. They do play North Dakota State. Spoiler alert, North Dakota State, not very good. Also, the LSU Tigers got a tough battle on the hardwood tonight. We'll break both those down on the other side here on Off the Bench.
Give me like 2 seconds, please.
So in a minute when we get back, we're going to break down LSU baseball versus North Dakota State. Guys, they're 1-9 on the year. They're not a very good baseball team. Basketball, on the other hand, well, they're not very good in their own right, but they're taking on Kentucky. Kentucky is ranked number 19 in the country. I know what you're thinking. You look at this matchup on paper, Kentucky's going to blow the doors off of LSU. That may not be the case. We'll talk about why here on the other side on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
Go to Central Plumbing, 925-8552, centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org. You got plumbing problems? Go to the place that's been solving them for 50 years with flat rate pricing, licensed, bonded, and insured employees, excellent warranty work coverage once the work is done. Peace of mind every step along the way. Like, how did they grow so much over 50 years? How do you stand the test of time? How do you have this massive fleet now ready to meet all of Baton Rouge's needs? Because your customers are consistently satisfied. But, Jake, it's not just when things go wrong.
It is not.
Stanley Jean-Baptiste.
I knew something hurt you. If you're looking to upgrade at your home or your business, they can certainly come in. They can do that. I always tell you, go tank. Well, Central Plumbing. Go tankless today with a tankless water heater. Never run out of hot water. Again, that's something they can give you over at centralplumbing.org.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Jace Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac. Our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every...
Welcome back to more sports talk with some other stuff mixed in. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Welcome back in the final segment, hour number one, a Tuesday edition of Off the Bench. Taylor Sharp here with you, filling in for Jacob Hester and T-Bob Abear. Teased it a little bit going into break right there. The LSU baseball team is scheduled to take on North Dakota State tonight. We'll see if the weather holds up. They'll play them today and tomorrow. If not, then we'll just do this whole thing all over again tomorrow. But the Bison are not a very good baseball team. So far, they are 1-9 on the year. But it's worse than that. They average 3.8 runs per game. They allow over 8 runs per game. Their cumulative team pitching ERA is 11.10. That's awful. They got Jake Schaffner, who is going to be close to the top of their order. He bats .436. Everybody else significantly lower than that. He's kind of the only guy that's going to hurt you on this team. I mentioned it. None of the pitchers are going to scare you because their team ERA is north of 11. I don't think there's anything you could learn about LSU in this game. However, it's a get-right game. Look, some of the arms struggled with control over the weekend. If they're rested enough, you could get them in action, get their mindset back. You have a batter that you think struggling if you're Jay Johnson? Get him out there. Start him the whole game. Play him. Because the starters aren't going to learn anything by playing 1-9 North Dakota State. So, in this game, what do we want to see? Catcher position. Again, those pitchers that on the weekend, their control was all over the place. Can you get them back right? You're going to tinker with the batting order a little bit. Not your weekend batting order because I really like the top three, but, you know, a guy you can throw in there and be like, hey, I want to see what he's got. This is the perfect game to do that. And you could really do it back-to-back days as far as the batting order goes because, honestly, the guys that you trust, the guys you know are going to be in the order, I'm sure they'd appreciate a break. They just played 5 games in a course of 7 days, and they have another 5-game week scheduled this week as well. I'm sure they'd appreciate the break more than anyone. So, look, we'll see what happens. They're scheduled to take on North Dakota State this afternoon, and they are supposed to do so tomorrow as well.
No, you want to know what I really want to see about LSU baseball?
Daniel Dickens.
Well, no, shout out Daniel Dickinson, but can we make the games accessible? What happened to? I have ESPN Plus. There's no reason.
Well, that was the Frisco Classic. They were D1 baseball had like the exclusive broadcasting rights to that.
Baseball.
Well, a lot of people feel the way you do.
Baseball.
But look, the other games are going to be a lot more accessible to stream and watch than that one. Look, before I get out of here, we got about 3 minutes to go. I want to preview LSU basketball a little bit. They are going to take on the Kentucky Wildcats, number 19 in the country. I know what you're thinking. LSU basketball is terrible. You would be correct. Kentucky's a top 25 team. You would also be correct. This game is at Rupp Arena, which LSU has struggled mightily at in recent years. I'm not saying LSU can win this basketball game because I think that is a very, very tall task. What I will tell you is this might be a game. LSU might be able to turn this into a competitive game, and I'll tell you why. Look, Kentucky's ranked number 19. Kentucky's last 3 games, 96-83 loss to Alabama on the road. They go on the road to Oklahoma, get a 1-point victory over an Oklahoma team that LSU also beat. Kentucky wins that game 83-82. They allow Oklahoma to score 82 points on them. Then they were at home this past Saturday against Auburn. Auburn beats them 94-78. Now, Auburn's going to do that to a lot of teams. I totally understand that. But 2 of the last 3 games that they've lost and 3 of the last 5. They beat Vanderbilt at home back on February 19th, but the game before that, Texas beats them on the road, 82-78. So you have a team that has lost 3 of the last 5 games, has lost 2 of the last 3, or allowing a ton of points offensively. Now, LSU's never going to be a great defensive team. They don't have the post players to do it, plain and simple. However, look at the games that LSU has won this year. They beat South Carolina, and I get it, South Carolina's not very good. They scored a lot of points. They took down Oklahoma. They scored a lot of points. Cam Carter went off in that game. I think Kentucky's going to win this game because I think they're a far superior team talent-wise. However, LSU can make this a ball game. Kentucky's defense has not been good. They beat Vanderbilt, again, back on February 19th. They only gave up 61. Everything other than that, they've gave up more than 80 points in every game they have played the last 4 games. So this is a game that if LSU can get hot early, again, I don't think they can win it, but they can certainly make it a game. That game will tip off 6 p.m. tonight in the Rupp Arena out there in Lexington, Kentucky. All right, look, that's going to do it for hour number 1 of the show. Kind of a little bit of a news dump. We went through a lot of topics. We had some baseball, some basketball just then. A Division II coach decided to call out Brian Kelly, even though he had similar resumes. Possible rule changes to college football. And we broke down the LSU running back position coming up for the 2025 season. In hour number 2, we're going to kick things off talking New Orleans Saints. We'll talk about Tyrann Mathieu's future with the black and gold. We'll also have OTB mailbag at 8:15. And Jace LeJuene of Gridiron Football is going to hop on, preview some spring football. That's all coming up. We'll also talk about the LSU Tigers at the Combine. There are a lot of question marks around Will Campbell at the moment. I don't think they are warranted. Look, we'll get into all that and a whole lot more. So stay tuned. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench coming up right after this here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Off the Bench.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Jace Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, Know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Good morning, Baton Rouge. It is 8 in the morning. The rain is not here yet. It's a little cloudy with a chance of meatballs outside, but in an hour or two, we're going to talk some New Orleans Saints. I know. And we're going to talk maybe a little bit of LSU football. So for hour 2 of OTB, we're going to get it started right now.
Let's go, baby, let's go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Hey, they said I gotta come off the bench.
Now, here's Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Welcome into hour number 2, Tuesday edition of Off the Bench. Taylor Sharp sitting in the big boy chair for Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert. Very unique weather report we just got there. Guys, I know it sounded exactly like me. It actually was not. Jordan, is that your me impression?
It started off as, a Taylor. Now I've kind of, added a little bit of extra pizzazz to it. At first, when I first did it the first time, I was trying to be you.
It's almost like surfer dude vibes now. Like, I don't sound like
chill,
that.
Bro. Yeah. Cloudy with a chance of meatballs, guys.
This is white guy voice.
Yeah.
Like, let's just call it what it is.
A lot of white guys sound like that.
I don't know why we're walking on
but
that
I'm sitting there thinking,
I'm
sitting there thinking, is that just a white guy voice or is that a me? Because I don't really sound like that.
It was you at first. Don't get me wrong. Yes.
It was. Yes.
It was dedicated to you.
I got
it was like you were out of town. You were probably like in Branson, Missouri or something.
He was.
And we were like, are you going to do Tay-Tay's intro? And are you going to sound like Tay-Tay when you do it? And it started off as you and now it's just a generic white guy.
Whole thing. Yeah. Now it's just.
Because it's just a lot more like surfer stoner vibes than I would typically give off. I appreciate it. I think it's funny. It's just like.
Yeah,
I was making sure. I was like, is that me? Do I need to reevaluate
it's Mardi
things?
Gras, baby. It's
like,
Mardi Gras.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, look, hour number 2 here. We're going to hit a lot of football here. We previewed LSU baseball in that last segment. I want to start things right now with some New Orleans Saints. So there have been conflicting reports. So a reporter by the name of Tony Pauline wrote an article over the weekend saying that I'm told the New Orleans Saints are considering releasing 32-year-old safety Tyrann Mathieu, who has 1 year left on his deal. That is all Pauline wrote on the topic. He had no elaboration on why the Saints could make this decision, but Tyrann Mathieu got wind of it. And let me just point this out, though. Here's why it doesn't make a ton of sense. Matthew's contract is laid out to where it would actually cost the Saints more money to cut him than to keep him. Using that post-June 1 designation wouldn't help the Saints get under the salary cap in this situation. I know you hear about that a lot. You're like, okay, well, if you cut him post-June 1, you can save $10 million, X amount of dollars on your salary cap. It's actually going to cost the Saints to cut him, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense to begin with. However, Tyrann Mathieu certainly got word of it, and he said, don't believe all the hype, slow news day. He tweeted out 504 for life. So my thing is, with or without Tyrann Mathieu, the Saints need another safety. You're going to let Tyrann Mathieu play out the final year of his deal. I'm good with that. He is 32 years old. He has lost a step. That's understandable. Who would be a possible replacement for him in the future? Because right now, outside of Tyrann Mathieu, you have one safety on the roster, and it's Jordan Howden, and he didn't have the best of seasons. I went to Spotrac. It brings up the NFL free agencies coming up in 2025. Wanted to look at the upcoming unrestricted free agents and whether or not the Saints should go after them. I got 3 names. I certainly have thoughts on them. I'm going to get Jordan's opinion on this as well. The first name that I am going to throw out is a name that was thrown out a lot this time last year. It's Justin Simmons. 62 tackles last year, 2 interceptions for Atlanta. The issue I have with Justin Simmons, first off, he's about to be 32 years old, so you don't really solve your youth problem. You're just bringing in another old safety next to Tyrann Mathieu. Also, he made $7.5 million last year, so he's too expensive for the Saints. You cannot overpay really at any position for older players because you're still in cap hell. I like Justin Simmons as a player. I think he had a really nice season for the Falcons. He had a nice safety duo out there in Atlanta. I just don't see the Saints making this move strictly because, again, you have that $7.5 million contract. I'm assuming he's going to want something at least similar, maybe in the $5 to $6 million range because he had a good season. It's not like he's coming off of a bad injury or off of a down year.
Man, forget him.
So you're saying no to Justin Simmons?
Definitely saying no to Justin Simmons.
I am as well.
Well, you're saying it for, the money thing. First of all, he wined and dined with the Saints at first and then went and skipped town with the Falcons. You're dead to me, man.
I love
Kick
Saints
rocks.
fans.
Kick rocks. Kick rocks. Justin Simmons, get out of here. And you're old.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes.
I'm going to say no because...
Wined and dined with us for a whole week. Like, we can Justin Simmons. Next thing you know, he's on the first flight to Atlanta. Get him out of here.
Jordan. It's all about the money, brother. It's all about the money.
Right.
They paid him $7.5 million. The Saints couldn't do that. Why? We broke. Because you've been in cap hell for 6 years now.
Yeah.
He's too expensive, and it doesn't really solve your age problem because he's only like 6 months younger than Tyrann Mathieu. He'll be 32 years old halfway through next season.
Yeah.
The other name I want to point out to you is Talanoa Hufanga.
Okay.
You'll remember him from the 49ers.
Yes.
So the issue with Hufanga is coming off back-to-back season-ending injuries.
Yeah.
In 2023, he tore his ACL after 10 games.
Off a juke. Somebody juked him out of his ACL.
He did have 3 interceptions that year. Last year, only played 7 games. He had ligament problems in his wrist that they shut him down for the entire year. You remember the 49ers were a mess last year. I mean, basically, their entire team outside of Brock Purdy missed like half the season. However, in 2022, his last season playing a full 17 games, he was awesome. 97 tackles. He had 4 interceptions, one of which he returned for a 52-yard touchdown. He was a Pro Bowler in 2022, which was his last full season of football. Also, he's only 26 years old. And if you want to go look at his contract and say, okay, well, what does this do for the Saints financially?
He didn't get paid yet, huh?
He got paid less than $1 million a year.
Yeah, he didn't get
with
paid
the 49ers because he was still on his rookie deal.
Yeah.
This is a guy that's young, that's
young.
affordable. The only issue is he's coming off back-to-back season-ending injuries. But, again, the last time he played a full 17 games, he was a Pro Bowl.
I think he was an all-pro, too.
Yes or no to Hufanga?
Oh, definitely no. And, you have injury problems. You coming down here, injury problems going to get worse. Like the Saints and the Pelicans, the medical staff can't save a boo-boo. So he's damaged. I guess call him damaged goods because he's still a great player. I think if he goes to the right team that has, adequate, that can, work with him, yes. But, we just had Dennis Allen to get fired for him to start doing dynamic warm-ups. They wasn't even warming up before practice in the games before Rizzi became the head coach. So I don't know what the Saints. So if you got injury problems, please stay away. This is not, we don't need you.
Okay. Final name.
Yes.
This is a name that everyone knows. This is a name that I believe everyone can get behind. How about Damar Hamlin?
I love it.
So, look, I get it. Damar Hamlin went from a great story, and he was a guy that was kind of a relative unknown when his injury happened on the field. But he's turned into a really good player. Look at what Damar Hamlin did a year ago. Damar Hamlin had 89 total tackles. He had 2 interceptions. He started 14 games in one of the best secondaries in the NFL and on a top 10 defense. He's only 26 years old. And last season, Damar Hamlin made $910,000 because he was an undrafted rookie and he was on an undrafted rookie contract. Even if you pay him $2 million, he's more than doubling his money. Again, he's 26 years old. He'll be 27 by the time the season starts. He's shown that he's fully recovered from his heart issue. He played in 15 games this year, started every single one of them, played really well in the playoffs. And again, he was the anchor on the back end of a top 10 defense in the NFL. Can I interest you in Damar Hamlin?
Oh, I'm all in, baby. Look, I know I'm going to sound like a hypocrite because I was talking about injuries and this guy kind of died.
This is a different kind of injury, though, to your point.
I'm about to say, this guy is anointed from the Lord, okay? This guy was brought back to life on a football field. So if anybody and he still plays, if anybody loves the game, it's Damar Hamlin. The Saints need more people out there that love the game. So, yes.
So those are kind of the 3 guys I wanted to highlight in free agency. And look, obviously for different reasons, right? They all have their own issues, but they all have a lot of things to like about them as well. Justin Simmons, a little too old, a little bit too expensive. Hufanga, an excellent player, a top 10 safety when he's fully healthy. He hasn't been fully healthy in 2 seasons now. Damar Hamlin certainly had the heart issue when he went into cardiac arrest. However, he seems to have been fully recovered from that. He's on the cheaper side. He's only 27 years old. A lot to like about those guys, and I think they're all gettable because, look, they all have their certain issues. Can the Saints work with those issues? Here's the other thing I want to look at.
Let us know.
Rookies coming up in this NFL draft. So, Malachi Starks is going to be a first-round pick. Right now, he is the only safety projected to go in the first round. I'm not saying the Saints should draft him with their first-round pick. But look, when you look at Malachi Starks, in his 3-year career at Georgia, 197 tackles, 6 interceptions. Again, he's likely a first-round pick. If you fall in love with this guy, I wouldn't mind it because I think you have a desperate need at safety. But I don't think they're going to do that round 1 just because this is a very, very deep safety class. Let me explain. Xavier Watts. We all know the name, the safety out of Notre Dame, one of the best defenses in college football. He absolutely put on a show in the college football playoff. 188 tackles in his college career, 13 interceptions, 6 interceptions last season for one of the top 5 defenses in all of college football. He was a staple on that Notre Dame defense. He's coached by Marcus Freeman, so you know he's well coached. He should also be there in round 2 when you get a pick. Because right now he's projected as like the 45th, 46th overall player on most teams' big boards. If teams don't reach for safeties, Xavier Watts, if he's drafted where he's listed right now, that's right around where the Saints are going to be in round 2 of this NFL draft. Another guy I want to look at, Nick Underhill. He's a guy that's been rising up draft boards. He was incredible at the combine. He's from South Carolina. LSU fans may know him. He is the one that threw the blindside block on Garrett Nussmeier that got the interception return for a touchdown called back, ultimately helped.
Oh, well, hold on, Taylor. You can't say that now because now I don't like him. I was liking him until you told me that information.
Look, you got to take the good with the bad with all these guys.
Oh, man.
He is a freak athlete, though.
He is a freak.
He had, in 3 seasons at South Carolina, 244 tackles, 6 interceptions. He's also 6'3", 222 pounds at the safety position. You can move him in the box if you need to. You can play him around the line of scrimmage. Again, he has 6 interceptions. He has the coverage skills to play on the back end as well. He is rocketing up draft boards, but right now he is still considered a second-round pick. He's a guy that could also be there when the Saints are picking early in the second round. The last guy I want to mention, kind of the polar opposite size-wise from Nick Underhill, Billy Bowman from Oklahoma. Look, I get it. Oklahoma's defense wasn't very good. Billy Bowman was. Yes. Billy Bowman, 188 tackles, 11 interceptions in 4 years. Is Brent Venables a good head football coach? I certainly do not think so, but he is a hell of a defensive coach. Now, Billy Bowman, a little bit on the smaller side. He's 5'10". He's 188 pounds. Ooh. But if you need a guy roaming in the back end and you want to play Tyrann Mathieu closer to the line of scrimmage, Billy Bowman fits what you want to do if you're looking for that deep safety. Now, he doesn't have the versatility of an Underhill or an Xavier Watts, but the guy could cover with the best of them. He also had 6.5 tackles for a loss at Oklahoma, so he can come up and make tackles. He's a surefire player on the back end of a defense. He played in the SEC this past year, and he was really good. I mean, look, all the hype was on Danny Stutzman, the linebacker at Oklahoma, coming into this year, and rightfully so. He was a preseason All-American. Danny Stutzman had a good year. He's a heck of a player. For my money, Billy Bowman was the best player on the Oklahoma Sooners defense. I don't really think it was particularly close. He kept them in a lot of games. He was the reason that teams like Tennessee had trouble throwing the ball on them because Billy Bowman is so fast on that back end, he can cover a lot of ground. I love all three of these guys I just brought up. I like Malachi Starks as well. Problem is, the Saints are going to have to use a top 10 pick if they want to take a guy like Malachi Starks. I just don't think they're going to do that. I actually would not hate if they did do it because, again, I think there's a big need there. I just don't see them doing that with guys like Xavier Watts, Nick Emmanwori, Billy Bowman coming up in the second and third rounds of this draft. This is a deep safety class. So even if you don't land a Damar Hamlin, a Hufanga, Justin Simmons in free agency, there are a lot of really solid options in this rookie class. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, get your questions in the YouTube chat. It's time for OTB Mailbag. We'll hit it on the other side here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you. At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Jace Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com.
Welcome in to the best morning sports-ish show around. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
I think we should just spend an entire segment playing Linkin Park. I absolutely love Linkin Park. Alondra, the music has been on point today.
Thank you.
What's the theme? Kind of
Tay-Tay again. It's Tay-Tay theme.
alternative rock, though, today. Kind of seems more of, look, I'm enjoying it. You were nailing it. I don't even know if I told you I loved Linkin Park, but
It's the Tay-Tay vibe.
I do give off the vibe. Okay, I'm actually gonna give us our first question. Let's go ahead and hop in right now. OTB mailbag.
Special delivery! I have this special delivery for Off the Bench. And look, it is marked most urgent.
We'll be writing to you.
The internet. What the is the internet?
All right, the first mailbag question comes from me. Hashtag OTB mailbag. Everyone in the room, what is your favorite king cake flavor?
The one with cream cheese filling.
Okay, so just standard cream cheese filling. Okay, go. Jordan?
More of a cinnamon traditional. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I'm not really.
You're an unfilled king. Okay, guys, listen.
Definitely.
Fill me up.
All the Louisiana and yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Fill me up.
Yo, what is going on here? It's 8 in the morning. We're talking about fill me up?
Look, Alondra likes the cream. Jordan doesn't. Jordan, let me explain to you why you're wrong. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, yes.
Listen, all the Mardi Gras purists are going to come after me and be like, you have to have the traditional king cake. A traditional king cake unfilled is a crappy cinnamon roll. That's exactly what it is.
They have a good one.
No. You can have the best ones.
No, man.
Because filling is always better than no filling. The answer is quite clearly strawberry cream cheese. It gives you a little bit of fruit. It gives you the cream cheese option. You got the icing on top as well. It makes the inside of the cake a lot more moist than the dry, unfilled traditional king cakes
this
that
is
Jordan
rage
likes.
bait, guys.
No,
I agree 100%.
Is some kind of filling. Enjoy your filling.
Yeah.
Alondra likes the regular cream
Fill me
cheese.
up.
I go the strawberry cream cheese. It is not traditional unfilled under any circumstance.
Give me all the cream.
Those are just not good king cakes after like a day. After a day and it's been sitting there soggy.
You're not getting the right ones.
No, man. No,
Bro,
man.
I can go get a strawberry cream cheese king cake and eat on it for a week.
Yeah.
No question about it.
EU.
OTB mailbag. Will you do a beer run for Fat Tuesday? No beer run today, guys.
No beer run, guys.
I don't even know what's open. Okay, like honestly, the three of us and Hunt Palmer are the only ones in this building right now.
Yeah.
So half of the building is off today. I don't even know what's open. There's also one gas station in our vicinity here at Government Street. So if the Chevron down the streets are not open, we can't even really make a beer run. So no beer run today. I love the spirit. I love the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Bad day to do it.
T-Bob's not here to fund it, so.
OTB mailbag.
Wait, does T-Bob fund the beer runs? I think Tay-Tay just goes and buys it.
Oh, well, he gave me the money the one time I went, so I ain't gonna lie, bro. You might want to.
First off, you went on one?
He went on one, yeah.
Yeah.
T-Bob gave you the money to go on a beer run.
Yeah, and he let me keep the change. Yeah.
I have probably spent $60 on beer runs.
Yeah, you let me keep the change.
He kept the change too.
I have probably spent $60 on beer runs.
Well, I'm sorry.
You might want to send him a Venmo request.
That's fine.
Tax season coming up, man. You need that.
I'm a giver.
Write it off.
Yeah.
I'm a giver.
Write it off.
That's true. It is a work expense.
It's work expense. Yes.
I even helped him put him in the friggin' cooler in his office.
And look, and Taylor, they got you on video doing it.
Yeah.
Do you have video evidence of you doing it?
Twice.
Yes. Get your.
No way. They were $30 each.
No, they were like. Well, because I got us the 24 packs
you got
both
the case.
times. They were about.
Don't disclose the.
They were
price.
like 21. It was about 21, so it was probably like $42.
No, T-Bob, he spent $60 total. He needs his money
Well, if
back.
he let him keep the change, he's got to let you.
60 is a little high. It was probably like 42, 45, somewhere in there.
Get my boys coins.
Yeah, okay, here's one. OTB mailbag. Will Jordan go on a monster run for Taylor? Okay, so Guys, no Monster today.
No Monster.
We went the super manly pink edition of the Red
Real
Bull today.
men wear pink.
It's new. It's called Wild Berries, plural, not just your normal wild berry. I give it like maybe a 6.5 out of 10. Not great. Okay, here's one that I actually have the perfect answer to, but I want to hear y'all's first. Hashtag OTB mailbag. This comes from Bilbo. Name an LSU sporting event you want to attend but have not attended yet.
Oh, I like this question.
A gymnastics meet.
Hold up. You have never been.
I've
Alondra,
never been to
let
a
me
gym
explain
meet.
something. Look, women's basketball is rolling right now under Kim Mulkey. I understand that. The most electric it has ever been in the PMAC.
Yeah.
Gymnastics meets, no
Yeah.
question about it.
I
My
would
top
love
3
to.
experiences in the PMAC are all gymnastics
Yeah.
meets.
I would love to go. And the women's basketball, I don't go to many sporting events unless it's like football because I have to be there. But like,
when it's easier, like football's always on a Saturday.
Right.
It's like 6 times out of the year you have a home game. I get that.
we're always working. So like, it's hard to get out there. But I would love to go to a gym meet.
Oh man, mine's easy. I would love to go to the box. I've never been to the box.
You've never been to the box?
I've never been to an LSU baseball game. I always see it from afar. I want to like tailgate and like go to the game.
Jordan, we gotta go.
We have tickets here all the time.
We gotta go, Jordan.
Oh yeah, and I've never been.
Go
So
tonight.
yeah, that's
Go
definitely.
tonight.
Well, I ain't gonna go tonight.
Go tomorrow night.
What's the weekend series? Or
It
something?
sounds like Jordan doesn't really want to go.
No, I want to
he's
go. I want to
making
go on I want to catch like a Friday. You know, oh it's Friday. We out here at the box. Like we lit. Like the games look lit, and also
midweek's not even close to weekend. I totally
Yeah.
understand. I'm just giving you a
I
hard
want to
time.
get to like I want it to be lit. I want to tailgate. You know, I'm out there. You know, eating a hot dog, crushing some beers. Everybody go to the game. Like yes, I would love that. I want to go to the box so bad.
So my answer, which I've actually brought this up to Victoria in the last week, and we're going to go. I want to go to an LSU beach volleyball meet. They seem awesome, and how they do it. So like they'll do it on a Saturday. They'll do like a 10:30 a.m., a 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and like a 6:30 p.m.
Yeah.
So you can really pick what time of day you want to go. We are going to go do this. They're on the road till like March 28th, but I'm not missing any work, but I'm actually out of town that weekend. Early April, me and Victoria are actually going to a beach volleyball event. I hear they're awesome. They pack it out because they're really good.
Yeah.
You can kind
It
of
was an
stand
Olympics.
Yeah, you can kind of stand around on the little pavilion, or you can go sit in the bleachers. It looks awesome.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That is actually one that I want to go do and will go do. Okay, hashtag OTB mailbag. Should OTB do a tailgate?
Yes. Actually, so I think we're going to do a watch party for whenever we open up SEC play versus Missouri. So I don't think that might be a home series, but if you're not going to make it out to the game, it's going to be at Elite. More details to come once the boys get back, but
Well, it would have to be for baseball, too. Football is a friggin' madhouse.
Yeah.
You can't even find space to. It would have to be baseball, to your point.
yeah. So yes, a
Yeah.
watch party is coming up.
Regardless, if it's a tailgate to the game, I have to go to the box. Like there's no way. I have to. Bro. It's too lit. It just looks so lit. I just have never been. Never.
Hashtag OTB mailbag. When is the last time you have checked your mailbox? 2 days ago. I check my mailbox about twice a week.
I mean,
2 days ago.
It's right outside my door, so every day.
You check it every day. That is honestly very responsible of
No,
you.
it's like right outside my door.
Oh, it's like on your, okay.
Yeah. So I see it every day.
I got one of those houses where it's like, so I don't live on a busy street, but the mailbox is across the street, and it
yeah.
does kind of suck.
Yeah.
Twice a week, 3 times a week,
Yeah.
depending. And sometimes Victoria will order something without telling me and be like, can you go check the mailbox? And I'm like, there's clearly there's going to be like 3 packages in this mailbox.
Yeah.
So unless I know something's coming in, 2 or 3 times a week. I mean, what, every other day? I think that's a reasonable amount.
The problem is I worked at the post office before doing this, so I'm kind of like traumatized into being on them because I used to hate delivering somebody's mail and they're not checking the mail and it's just like stacked up. So, dude, that's the worst. It's the worst. And you gotta like throw it on there. I hate people that didn't never check their mail. So I'm like Stockholm syndrome to checking my mail. Like, I just love it now. I have to.
All right, final question. This one comes from T-Bob's chest hair.
Okay.
Shout out T-Bob Chester.
Hashtag OTB mailbag. Am I what y'all miss the most in the studio? Absolutely not.
Now we missed the knee. T-Bob's knee.
Oh, T-Bob's knee does have a
shout out
page as
T-Bob's
well.
knee, yes.
T-Bob's knee does have a page as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not trying to make y'all beef, but
No, T-Bob's chest hair is not what I miss the most. T-Bob's
Yeah.
chest hair is not something I even think about, well, really ever until this
No.
exact moment. No, absolutely not.
No.
where's T-Bob's beard? We need a T-Bob's beard in the chat.
We do need a T-Bub's beer. But Jake's got one too, so then they got to have a
they have
Jake's
a
beer.
Jake's
And
beer?
it takes up a lot. All right, look, that's going to do it for OTB Mailbag. When we get back, we're going to be joined by Jace LeJuene of Gridiron Football. We're going to continue our preview of LSU spring football. They are on the practice field on March 8th, so this upcoming Saturday. We'll hear from Jace on the other side here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
BoudreauxElectrical.com, but also just type in whatever your search engine is. You can type in Boudreaux's Electrical, and you'll see the reviews that they get, right? 5 out of 5. There's no 4 stars. There's no 3 stars. There's no 2 stars, speaking of recruiting. It's only 5 stars. And we did this, I'd say 3 weeks ago, and it was like, I had like 49 reviews. It's over 70-something right now, just 3 weeks later, because you're hearing about Boudreaux's. They've been doing this for so long, and you know what you are going to get every single time. You're going to get a 5-star effort and a 5-star player every single time from Boudreaux's. So check those reviews out on Google. Also, go to their website, BoudreauxElectrical.com. You can set up your appointment. You can see their contact information. It's right there in the bottom right corner of the website, BoudreauxElectrical.com. More power, more protection.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Jace Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-111.
How can you see into my eyes like open doors?
Welcome in to the best morning sports-ish show around. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
I wasn't going to go before the beat dropped a lot. Come on. Welcome back in to Off the Bench. Taylor Shelby with you, filling in for Jacob Hester and T-Bob Abear. All right, we're going back to LSU football. They will be on the practice field coming up this weekend. Spring football about to kick off, and for that, we're going to be joined by Jace LeJuene of Gridiron Football. Jace, what's going on this morning, man?
Nothing much, buddy. What's going on, Taylor?
Not a whole lot. You're kind of leaving me out to dry this coming Friday night, but you know what?
Yeah.
It's payback. I missed the baseball game last Friday night. You're missing it this Friday, but look, we got the chit chat this week nonetheless. Jace, when spring practice starts, just kind of overall, whether it's a specific player, position group, whatever, what is the biggest thing you're going to be watching during spring practice?
Well, the biggest thing is actually probably the biggest storyline heading into spring practice, Taylor, and that's really the defensive line because LSU has been looking for really that constant presence at defensive line since Brian Kelly's really gotten here for a defensive line coach. And I believe with Jacoby Guillory, I think he's the seventh different defensive line coach he's going to work under since he's been here at LSU. So that's really the biggest storyline. You thought you had that with Bo Davis and, one of the best out there in the entire country. And now you're going to have to find a replacement for him heading to spring football as the Saints grab him away. So that's going to be the biggest storyline for me because you have a lot of new pieces on the defensive line, especially on the edges. So really looking at who the defensive line coach is going to be and who's going to work with these guys. Hopefully we get an announcement pretty soon about that. But that's really the biggest thing I really got my eye out on who is going to be and how he works with these guys during spring.
As far as the spring practice goes, LSU is bringing in a heck of a lot of transfers that will be on the practice field coming up here shortly. As far as top transfers to keep an eye on, who are you going to be looking at?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on Patrick Payton, obviously the defensive end transfer from Florida State. Arguably the top gem when you talk about this transfer portal class for LSU. That was a huge get for the Tigers to get him in, and especially as a position of need. I mean, you lose both your defensive ends from last year, which was really a strength of this team last year. We talked about how well Braden Swinton and Savion Jones played last year. So I'm looking at him on the defensive side of the football, and LSU also got a couple other defensive end transfers too, as well. One from Nebraska, one from Florida too. So I'm looking at those two guys too. Offensively, the wide receivers are going to be something to watch out for. Barron Brown, I thought that was a big pickup for LSU from Kentucky because he does a lot of really good things, and especially he's been so successful as a kickoff return specialist for the Wildcats, and see what he can do as well, give you an extra dimension on special teams, on the offensive side of the football. LSU's got playmakers all over the field, so seeing where he fits, I'm going to be very intrigued. And that's going to be an interesting, basically battle there too, because you have like three capable guys that could bring it to the house on any given play. Whether it's Barron Brown, Davion Thomas, we've seen him do that, especially in the bowl game, and Aaron Aronson. So I'm very intrigued to see how he fits in all.
I mean, you just brought up the receivers, and that's one of the quote unquote battles in spring. That brings me right into it, like position battles for LSU. Whether it's receiver, whether it's that cornerback spot, safety is up for grabs. Like what spot are you watching as far as position battles?
I actually totally agree with you on the first two that you said. Like really wide receiver and cornerback. I mean, wide receiver, you always know that the talent's always there for LSU. And it is still talented. I mean, you have a pretty good mix of experienced guys, whether it's Aaron Anderson, Davion Thomas, Chris Hilton, and especially if Chris Hilton, that's always been the question about Chris. Can he stay healthy for going towards the fall? If he can do that, I mean, just to carry the momentum he had towards the end of the season, the game against Oklahoma, and then after that in the bowl game, he could be in for a big-time year, see how he fits. You also had a couple of transfers in as well. We talked about Barron Brown, Nick Anderson. He's shown some flashes. He had a great freshman year at Oklahoma, so his thing is staying healthy as well. And you add in the tight ends, Trey Green, and what kind of mismatch problem he is, Bauer Shop, Donovan Jackson, those guys like that. It's going to be a lot to look at when you talk about Donovan Green, but who are these guys that are going to be the receiving options for this team?
As far as some of the younger guys, Jace LeJuene with Gridiron Football joining us right now. As far as some of the younger guys coming in the spring, or a guy that maybe was on the team last year, redshirted for whatever reason. I want to talk about Harlem Berry first. Look, he's going to be the early enrollee, and we know about Harlem Berry, right? I mean, he was explosive in high school. He's the number one running back in the country coming out. You got Caden Durham. You have Caleb Jackson. Those are really the only two returners. I mean, Josh Williams is moving on. You no longer have a John Emery. What do you want to see from Harlem Berry?
Harlem Berry is one of those unique talents, right? I mean, you talk about just, electrifying speed in the open field. He's a playmaker. I mean, he's just got that special gear. He's going to be one of those type of guys, like LSU. He's not like the big 230-pound running back, every down back like we've seen in previous years from other five-star backs like Leonard Fournette in the past for LSU. But this is a guy that can change the game in any given play. So he can be like a gadget guy. You can do tosses with him, jet sweeps, screens, just give him the ball in the open space. And I really like JT Lindsey as well coming in as another freshman that comes in the sign class at that running back position. So this running back position is looking much better in terms of just overall depth. And, we got two guys that JT Lindsey, he could be an every down back. And you sprinkle that in with Harlem Berry, who has that ability, like a Reggie Bush, just to take over a game, and he's just a human highlight reel. But if you add those two guys together, you all know what Cam Durham can do. So he just needs some rest. I mean, he pretty much was the LSU running game last year. So if you can get anybody to help complement that, give him some rest, I think they can do that with two freshmen that can play a lot early on.
So, I kind of talked about this to open the show earlier because, look, you got Harlem Berry and JT Lindsey coming in. They're two of the best running backs in college football. You offered a preferred walk-on spot to Reed Chauvin out of Episcopal. Caleb Jackson, he had so much hype going around him coming into last season. He's kind of the forgotten man in this room. What do you expect from him in spring ball?
Yeah, I mean, really for Caleb, it's just getting down, just to really learn the offense. Just being able to stick to that, knowing what holes to hit, being patient. A lot of times I just thought that he wasn't patient enough. A lot of times he was just running through the back of an offensive lineman, didn't really get to see the holes. I know he struggled a lot with that last year, and he also bulked up a little bit. So hopefully, the strength conditioning program can get Caleb Jackson just a little bit under. As far as leaning up him. Compared to last year, because he was playing bigger than what he should have been. So just getting him healthy and just getting him at a good weight to play with as well is something that they're going. I'm keeping an eye on with Caleb and see how he moves as well with his weight, because I know that was a problem in fall practice last year.
So look, Jace, we know that they have to replace Bo Davis. That's going to be a tall task. As far as position groups, though, going into spring practice, what is your biggest question mark for this Tigers team?
I would say, and this was actually the strength going into camp last year, is the offensive line.
Yeah.
There's a lot of question marks with the offensive line. Anytime you have to replace two guys who are 4-year starters for you, or 3-year starters for you, and Will Campbell and Emory Jones, you have to replace those two guys. But you have to also replace two guys that were multi-year starters. They're there since the beginning with Brian Kelly, as Garrett Dellinger and Miles Frazier. You have to replace those two as well. And you really have one returning starter from last year, and that's DJ Chester. And, he struggled a little bit at center. So you were able to get a couple of transfers coming in, and Josh Thompson from Northwestern and Braylon Moore, who has started at center at Virginia Tech. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. Do they move Chester to guard and put Moore in at center? Thompson looks like he's got the guard role, and is Tyree Adams, is he ready to step up and be the left tackle, or Garrett Nussmeier, who's going to be the right tackle? So there's just a lot of talent in that room. There's just a lot of untapped potential and a lot of question marks with that offensive line heading into the spring, and this is going to be a big year to see what Brad Davis can do with those guys.
Jace, before I get you out of here, look, a lot of people are talking about the pressure on Brian Kelly. It's is this the make or break year for him? Is this Brian Kelly's most talented team heading into a season?
I'm not sure about talented. I feel like it is getting more talented each and every year, but I think it's the most evenly just like matched in terms of personnel just across the board, right? Like offensive line, you have some talent there. It's just the reason that's a question mark is just all those guys haven't started in SEC play. But you got talent there. And then you look at the defense, they're just building more and more pieces, better pieces in terms of their whole defense. And I saw with not only transfer portal, but the freshman class coming in, DJ Pickett was a big pickup as well in the secondary. So the secondary is shoring up a little bit, getting back to where LSU expected to be DBU. You know what to expect from the linebacking core. It's going to be as long as they're healthy, especially Harold Perkins, and what weeks if they can stay healthy, that's going to be one of the best in the entire country. In the front four, you had a lot of guys on the inside that played a lot last year too. So offensively, you got the skilled talent, you got the skilled weapons. Garrett Nussmeier comes back. So all across the board, that's a big reason why LSU is a big year for them, and they're projected to maybe make that next step in terms of competing for a college football playoff, just because how this is probably the most evenly matched personnel football team that LSU's had across the board since Brian Kelly's gone here.
Jace LeJuene, Gridiron Football. Jace, thanks so much for hopping on with us today, man.
Anytime, Taylor. Appreciate it. Have yourself a good one.
That was Jace LeJuene, Gridiron Football. We're going to continue our spring preview. That'll do it for today, but we'll continue our spring preview throughout the week. We'll look at different position battles, top storylines heading into spring, and we'll keep an eye on who LSU hires as their next defensive line coach. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, Will Campbell keeps taking an enormous amount of criticism in this NFL Combine heading into the draft, and I don't really understand why. We'll talk about that on the other side here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. If you're buying new, if you're leasing, if you're renting, and we've been telling you over the last couple of weeks, and well, next week is here, but if you've got a trip for Mardi Gras break, it is not too late. Call Miss Lisa Sessions today in the rental department, and if you need a midsize SUV, a full-size SUV, van, truck, hybrid, sedan, doesn't matter. Everything's available in that rental process, so make sure to get that done. But of course, if you're buying new or leasing, well, actually, maybe not leasing. Maybe you go some places and you only have like 3 options, one in each category. That's not the case over at All-Star. T-Bob and I have both taken full advantage of the rental process, leasing a vehicle, buying new. All 3, everything's going to be available. And we always tell you they have something for everybody. No matter what your needs are, what your family's needs are, they have got you taken care of. So go check out the full selection of vehicles at All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. Whole team on wildin'.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce.
Welcome back to the best morning sports show around. Sorta. It's Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, go to pelicanroof.com, pelicanroof.com. One of just the coolest tools that you will see out there, right there on the homepage of the website. What will my roof cost? Well, you put it in right there, your address. It's going to pull it up on the map, and it's going to frame your home and give you an estimate right there, like on the spot, of how much they estimate your roof replacement to be. Never really seen anything else like it, just to give you an idea of what you're looking at. And then, right, after you get that and you get that number and you kind of get that information, then you can get in contact with them. Again, pelicanroof.com is the website. In the very top right corner of the website, locations, contact information of how to have them out to your home. And remember, they've got an office in Lafayette. They've got an office in Baton Rouge. You're not driving back and forth. They are there in those local communities. Go to the website today, pelicanroof.com.
Welcome back in. Final segment, hour number 2, Tuesday edition of Off the Bench. Taylor Sharp filling in for T-Bob Hebert and Jacob Hester. Thanks so much for Jace LeJuene hopping on with us to preview a little LSU spring football. We'll go from current LSU Tigers to a former LSU Tiger. Will Campbell is drawing a lot of praise and a lot of doubters at the NFL Combine. Look, Will Campbell ran a 4.98 in the 40-yard dash. It was one of the fastest times for any O-lineman. He had the best standing broad jump of any O-lineman at 9 feet 5 inches. However, his arms are apparently a little bit too short, and I just don't understand why so many scouts and so many NFL executives try to be the smartest guy in the room at all times. So anybody who doesn't know, Will Campbell's arms measured at 32 5/8 inches. Apparently the standard minimum across the board for offensive tackles is around 34 inches, maybe a little bit smaller. So you're going to potentially pass up on what I believe is the best left tackle in this NFL draft because his arms are about an inch too short. Who cares? Go look at what he did for 3 years. He started 38 games at LSU at left tackle in the SEC. Mel Kiper Jr. says if you look at the big boards, it's projected that Campbell blocked against 15 guys who will go in the first and second round of this upcoming NFL draft. He was a 3-year starter in the SEC. Go look at his tape. He won so many more matchups than he lost. He was an excellent blocker. We talked about his run blocking. That got better as the year went along. He needs to chill out on the false starts, but once the ball is snapped, he is an elite left tackle. And you're going to potentially pass up on this guy because his arms are a little bit too short. But what about his 40 time? What about his standing broad jump? This guy's explosive. He's an explosive athlete. He's also somebody that you could throw in there at tackle or guard. It's not much different than Taliese Fuaga, who we talked about last year. Fuaga had played right tackle. He played left tackle. He had played guard. Now, Campbell was such a good left tackle. He was your stalwart there for 3 years. But Campbell is so versatile, so athletic. He can play in multiple spots. Don't pass up on this guy because you're worried about his arms being too small. It's the same crap we hear all the time about, oh, well, this quarterback's hand sizes are too small. You throw all the tape out the window. You throw all the numbers out the window. You don't care about all the big games that they've won, and you look at the hand sizes. For example, the 3 biggest hand sizes in the NFL in terms of starting quarterbacks. Will Levis, number 1. Jordan Love, number 2. Anthony Richardson, number 3. Seen a little bit of a pattern. Jordan Love has shown his flashes. My opinion, he hadn't done anything in about a year. The three guys that are in the top 5 smallest hand sizes in the NFL in terms of starting quarterbacks: Joe Burrow, Jared Goff. They're tied for the smallest hands in the NFL. Baker Mayfield at 9 1/4. Those 3 guys are a hell of a lot better than the 3 guys I just mentioned who apparently have these massive hands, which is so important at the quarterback position. Stop with all this. Stop overthinking everything. Hand size doesn't matter with quarterbacks. It's never mattered with quarterbacks. Arm length's not going to matter as a left tackle. You can either play football or you can't. You either have good technique, you either have good feet, you either have the strength to block these guys, or you don't. You're not going to block this guy because your arms are 34 inches instead of 33 inches. Stop overthinking everything. Will Campbell is a bona fide first-round pick. He is the best left tackle in this draft. Don't pass up on a potential 10-year guy that you can just plug in there at left tackle and not worry about it for the next decade because his arms are about an inch shorter than you would like them to be. I don't understand why GMs do this. They do it time and time again. Scouts do it. They try to poke holes in every little thing, and they don't look at the guy that's right in front of you. I see a guy who is a 3-year starter at left tackle, who started 38 games in the SEC, who is 6'6", who is 320 pounds, who ran one of the fastest 40 times and had the best broad jump of any offensive lineman in the NFL draft. That shows athleticism, it shows explosiveness, and Will Campbell's tape speaks for itself. Stop with the arm size, stop with the hand size. It doesn't matter. It's never mattered. A little bit of a rant there to close out hour number 2. Look, when we get to hour number 3, Nick Underhill is going to hop on at his normal spot at 9 a.m. I'm sure Nick's going to have a lot of thoughts on the NFL draft, where the Saints should go there. We may talk a little NBA basketball. Guys, I watched a heck of a college basketball game last night involving one Cooper Flagg, and we'll maybe get into that a little bit. A couple NFL topics I want to hit. Is Shedeur Sanders still QB2 in this NFL draft? That's all coming up in hour number 3 of Off the Bench.
Off the bench.
It's a dunking guy.
Feels like Jordan's good. Feels like maybe somebody else needs to go to yourgoodwood.com and check out what they've got for you. Check out some tea situations and different things because, I don't know, don't love the energy coming out of some people there. Yourgoodwood.com. Click to schedule your appointment today online. Yourgoodwood.com.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac. Our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail.
Good morning, Baton Rouge. It is 9 a.m. Super high winds outside, so stay warm. Rain's coming. Rain, sleet, or snow. OTB's going to keep rolling along on the train tracks. In hour number 3, we got Nick Underhill, top of the hour. Talk some. We got Nick. Yeah, he's on though. Top of the hour, and maybe some Pelicans. Cooper Flagg watch potentially. Let's get this show started.
Let's go, baby, let's go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
They said I gotta come off the bench.
Now, here's Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Real quick, before I call Nick, I'm sorry, but Cooper Flagg is going to be a Spur.
We'll get into it.
Dude.
We'll get into it.
Don't piss the people off.
All right, look, welcome back in. Hour number 3 of Off the Bench. Everyone is super fired up about Cooper Flagg, so we will get into that next segment. A little NBA basketball. I'm sure Jordan is thrilled about the success of the Los Angeles Lakers. I will certainly get everyone's thoughts on that. What can they do in the playoffs? And then where does Cooper Flagg end up, guys, as the final picture of the team's overall records is becoming a little bit more clear as we wind down the regular season. Want to recap hours 1 and 2 here just a little bit. In hour 1, we hit a lot of LSU football. I previewed the running back position coming up for spring. And then last segment, we hit a little bit of New Orleans Saints. We're back to LSU spring practice. Speaking of the New Orleans Saints, want to welcome in right now our normal guest here Tuesday, 9 a.m., Nick Underhill of NewOrleans.football. Nick, how are you this morning?
Hey, doing good. How you doing?
Doing well. Nick, you're not out. I appreciate you hopping on. It's Mardi Gras in New Orleans. What are the vibes like?
They're good, man. Just tired. Just real tired. At the end of it, this is when I feel my age every year comes straight from the combine, where you're just like walking like 12 hours a day in circles looking for people, and then come right here and just keep walking and standing. So yeah, this is where I feel the year every year. But no, it's great, man. It's great. Weather's been good. It looks like we're gonna get a nice pocket here before the rain comes and messes everything up. So. Yeah, it's been fantastic.
All right, well, Nick, let's jump right into it. Look, outside of the NFL Combine, the big story, at least for LSU and New Orleans Saints fans, has been the hiring of defensive line coach Bo Davis. What are your thoughts on that hire? What's he going to bring to this Kellen Moore staff?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, even before they hired Staley, Bo Davis's name was like one that I was hearing, and people were telling me to look out for it and everything. So. It's I think where they're at, like if you kind of look at the construction of their whole staff with Terry Joseph and Peter Sermon and Bo Davis, I mean, I think that there's like a high premium on player development right now for them. So I think that's probably, kind of what they're thinking about on that defense. And if you look at it overall, I mean, like they're going to need like a lot of people. Like they need a lot of players on that side of the ball. They need to start thinking about rebuilding it. And when you're playing the cap like they do, like it's going to take some cost-effective players. You're going to have to, take some mid-round picks and turn them into the players, get them to even be depth. And I think it's just kind of an eye on that they're going to have a young defense probably for the next few years, probably start cycling out some of these older players over the next couple of years, and they're going to have to be able to develop them. And going to the college ranks, getting some of those guys, I think, I think it makes a lot of sense. I like the construction of that defense. That defensive staff, we're going to kind of have to see what Staley is overall, but Yeah, I mean, look, that's a good hire, and low key, the rivalry between the Saints and LSU, like on some of these staffers, like there's a little years long quiet battle there, and it's kind of interesting to see it keep playing out.
Speaking of, want to continue with Bo Davis right here. Anytime a mock draft has come out this offseason, Nick, and Saints fans see the Saints like projected to pick, whether it's a D tackle or a defensive end, they kind of freeze because the Saints have missed on so many of those guys. Does the hiring of Bo Davis maybe alleviate some of those concerns?
I'd say no. I mean, I think you still have to get the right players, and I don't think Bo Davis is turning Isaiah Foskey into a superstar. And I might, if I'm wrong, clip that and play it later. I'll own it, but I don't think that changes anything. Look, I think the big reason they've missed on some of those guys is because they've been drafting late. In 18, you're a defensive end away from probably being a Super Bowl team, and there's no way to really get one. People don't let their DNs hit the open market and sign unless you're giving up on Trey Hendrickson too soon. But top tier surefire things, they don't show up out there. So you're kind of taking a gamble there. Peyton Turner, I think you're drafting him late, hoping that the measurables outweigh any concerns you have with him. Foskey's a second rounder. Brian Brzee, a guy that dropped, who I think is solid, but hasn't quite been, all the way where you want him to be. But I think the problem with a lot of those guys is that you're gambling overall and you're picking the wrong guys. And I don't think coaching or anything's really gonna save Marcus Davenport. I think the things that kind of plague Marcus Davenport are health and just kind of the love of the game. And I'm not sure that you're interjecting that somewhere else, but I mean, that's probably the biggest issue on the team, though. As you look at the downturn and the deterioration, it really is in those trenches. And, the Hendrickson, I'm not in there letting him go. All those decisions on that D-line, I think, are the biggest issue with the team. And if, 2 of the 5 things that went wrong hit, I think they're in a slightly different place right now. I mean, if I don't know, if you still have Hendrickson and one of the other guys, turns out to be good, you feel completely different about that defense. So, I mean, hopefully it helps them in the way, though, that they can get, a little more out of Foskey. Hopefully he makes him a productive player. The next guy that comes in, he helps turn him into a productive player. And you get more out of it than just a second-round pick that's a special teamer. That's the stuff that can't happen. And I think that overall, since 17, I mean, they've drafted 1 Pro Bowler overall, and he's a center. I think when you look at the team and say, hey, why aren't they good? It's really that. They aren't getting enough out of their drafts.
Nick, you were on here last Tuesday, and I don't remember who asked you. It was Jake or T-Bob. One of them was saying, if you had to pick right now, where do you think the Saints are leaning round 1? And you threw out the name Ashton Genty, and I that kind of surprised a little bit of people. Are you still kind of feeling that?
Yeah, him or Warren, I think, would be the 2 guys that I'm looking at. I think if Shedeur was there, they wouldn't draft him. I don't think Mason Graham's going to make it there. He's probably going to go in the top 8. So if he were there, I'd have him on the list too. But I think out of people that are expected to be there, I think it's probably those 2 guys that they're probably looking at the closest. I think there's needs there too. Obviously, Genty's, I think he's different. I think in a really good running back draft class, he kind of stands alone. I think at the top, pretty far away from the rest of the pack. And philosophically, I've been someone that's get him in the 3rd round and kind of develop him. But I do think there is a shift in the league a little bit with how running backs are getting valued. They're getting paid money, now that they weren't getting paid before. They're going to get drafted higher. It's kind of shifting back more towards a run game. That's kind of just obviously, the trend and how it kind of goes. Defenses get smaller. Everybody starts building their defenses for nickel packages. So now offenses are going to veer back. And I think you kind of saw defenses catch up overall. And that's just kind of how the league goes. It's we go from skinny jeans to baggy jeans back to skinny jeans. It's just kind of the way, football kind of follows the same pattern. So, I think we're back on the running back thing there. I think he's going to get drafted pretty high. I think the counter argument to that would be do you have the line to support him? Saquon without the Eagles line was a 1,000-yard running back. Saquon with the Eagles line was a 2,000-yard running back. can the Saints take full advantage of it? That would be the counter to that. At tight end, I think Warren's definitely in that mix. Loveland, too, is obviously a good player, but I think the shoulder kind of screwed him a little bit. I think Warren goes first. And, if you want the blocking and all that, like I think Warren's kind of the guy that you would favor. So I think he's a real option at 9 too. But if Mason Graham were to fall, I think I'd probably put him at the top, but I just don't think he's going to be there.
As far as Tyler Warren goes, Nick, I mean, look, there's obviously been a lot of talk. Are the Saints going to keep Taysom? Are they going to trade Taysom? What's his trade value? What can he bring to the Saints? Do they kind of view Tyler Warren as maybe that Taysom Hill style player? Because, he lined up at quarterback a lot at Penn State.
He can definitely give you some of it. I kind of, like, when I look at him, I kind of tap back a little bit to, I used to cover the Patriots when they had Gronk and Hernandez, and one of the things with Kellen Moore is that he really likes to pace, and there's a lot of no huddle, and they're usually rated at the top of the league in no huddle, top 2-3, like every year he's been in the league. And one of the things the Patriots did really well, they were different players. Like, I'm not saying, like, I don't think Todd Warren's there's probably more. I don't know. Like, he's not a Hernandez type player, but with the way that he can move around and do all kinds of different things, like, there is some similarity there. And like, the key to the Patriots no huddle in that 11 season was just like they were able to just kind of put him everywhere. Like, he's a tailback on one play, flex tight end on another. He's put out wide as a wide receiver, and like they kind of stole from Chip Kelly, and they were doing like a one-word turbo offense, and like just that ability to move around and create a mismatch, like no matter what the defense was doing. Like, I think he could give you some of that in that package, more so than even Taysom could. But yeah, I mean, I think there's some crossover there for sure. I mean, I think there's some similarity overall. I don't think you take him and try to do everything. And obviously one of the things that makes Taysom is that you kind of just have to respect the fact that he might just, pull up and throw the ball down the field. But there's definitely some flexibility there that I think, makes him rare and kind of opens up some of those things that you might want to do.
Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football, our guest right now. Nick, we've talked a lot about, the first round, whether it's Agenti, whether it's Warren. As far as the later rounds go, is there a position group or maybe even a particular player you'd like the Saints to go after?
I mean, man, they need everything. So, I look everywhere. There's a quarterback that I think maybe like in the very late rounds, Deckers, Iowa State. He got popped for gambling and had to go to JUCO. I think he's somebody that's kind of interesting. I think he's got some traits that are pretty good. But I think they could just do anything at any pick. And there's not a single spot on this team where you're like, no, they don't need a player there. Just don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of one right now. Maybe linebacker. Like, linebacker might be a little full, but I think you could still add one for depth. But I think they just need to. I think they can really go BTA at damn near any spot in the draft and be good. Like, I don't think you have to really kind of single anything out. Like, I kind of like that for them, but it's also a bad place to be that you can justify that at pretty much any spot. But yeah, I think they could do anything and it wouldn't be a surprise.
Nick, I wanted to bring this up and ask you this. I brought it up a little bit earlier on the show. There was a report that came out that a reporter put out that, the Saints might cut Tyrann Mathieu, and then Tyrann said no. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. What do you think Tyrann Mathieu's future is with the Saints this season and then after?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, there's different people in the building now, so it might just take one department head to have a different opinion to kind of sway a decision. So I don't want to say anything like definitive, but from the questions I've been asking, and I was asking these questions this week before it even came out, like, the feeling I got is that he was going to be on the team, but I can't say that as definitively as I we just haven't seen these people work. Like, I've never seen Brandon Staley make a decision before, so it's kind of even a little bit harder to anticipate that. But I kind of think he's going to be on the team. But I think they're in a place where anything could happen, and they do need to get younger at some point. And if he's on the team this year, like, I do think that there's probably a I'd need to show vast improvement as a team overall to continue to stay the course beyond this season. If they're trying to win again this year, and it sounds like they are, if they fail at that mission, I think you really got to get younger in a hurry. If you win a bunch of games and surprise people, I think kind of trying to keep it together. But look, he's probably reaching a point too in his career where there's a couple of years left on the clock. So I don't think it's like, there's a wide swath of runway there left. But I think Kyron probably has about 2-3 years left in him. I think that's how long he wants to play. I think I've heard him say that before. I think as you're trying to establish a culture and everything, a guy like that, having him around makes a lot of sense. But look, one of the things on my draft list would be a safety. And I think one of the benefits of taking a safety now is that you get him in the building, you put him next to Tyron. Tyron can kind of show him how to be a pro, how to take care of your body, how to study, how to prepare, all that stuff. Like, I don't think there's anybody on the team that does that stuff better than him. So I think he's still a great asset in the locker room. And, I would be surprised, just kind of the questions I was asking. Like, it just kind of seemed like there was an opinion that he was going to be on this team. But, if you don't play a premium position and, you're making a little bit of money, like, anything can happen.
I guess that's kind of leads me right into my next question. As far as the safety position next to a Tyrann Mathieu, I mean, obviously it's going to be a high priority because you're thin there, but I mean, do you think the Saints prefer maybe go get one of the younger free agents that are going to be unrestricted, or are they going to fill that need in the draft?
I think you got to do both.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really have anything there. Like, I would bring back Will Harris and then, try to knob one in the draft somewhere. One of Joseph, man, you look at what he did at Texas. Like, he took that secondary. They were like one of the worst secondaries in the league. And then in like the defensive pass rating efficiency by his last year at Texas, they were second. I mean, like, so they've done a really good job of getting players there, developing them, making them better. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think you need to do both, though. Like, it hasn't quite worked out as hoped with Jordan Howden. Like, I don't think he's kind of ready to be leaned upon, as somebody you're depending on to play a lot of snaps. Maybe you develop some proves you wrong there, but yeah, I think it's somewhere they got to double dip for sure. It's definitely a position that needs to be rebuilt.
Nick Underhill of NewOrleans.football, good enough to join us every single day, every single Tuesday at 9 a.m. Nick, thank you so much for hopping on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep, absolutely. That was Nick Underhill of NewOrleans.football. We're going to take a timeout. When we get back, funny story coming out of the NBA involving the Dallas Mavericks. We'll get into that. We'll also look at some of the standings. Pecking order, obviously the New Orleans Saints are close to the bottom of that. Where may they sit in that draft lottery? What are their chances of getting that number one pick? That's coming up on the other side. You're on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
GetGordon.com. GetGordon.com is the website, and we tell you every single day, as soon as you go to the homepage, it's going to pull up. You can have a chat with them right there on the main page of the website. So any question, concern that you might have, remember you can get a consultation set up right there on the homepage of that website. You can find cases they can handle for you in the courtroom, past client results, all right there on the homepage of the website. What are they doing in the community? Well, always something throughout the state of Louisiana. At Get Gordon is always going to be the handle on all major social media, so you can check that out as well. Because like we said, I mean, they're always doing something throughout the state. Speaking of throughout the state, if you want to pick up the phone and give them a call, it is your area code from Shreveport to Ruston, from Ruston to Lafayette, Lafayette to Baton Rouge, New Orleans, like wherever you're at, put your area code followed by 888-8888. Get Gordon and get it done.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Jace Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family-owned and community-driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play.
Never made it as a wise man. I couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing. Tired of living like a blind man. I'm sick aside without a sense of feeling. And this is how you remind me. This is how you remind me of what I really am. This is how you remind me of what I really am. It's not like
Back to sports talk. Maybe. Off the bench.
I want to pull a T-Bob and just like let the whole song play and just play the air guitar while the song plays.
Okay. So I don't know if because that was during the summer, so I'd only been here a few months.
It was 4th of July.
Yeah,
so
I'd only been here a few months. So I don't know if T-Bob knew me well enough to know that I was secretly freaking out while he was letting that happen.
Well, it was a holiday.
And then I started to turn it down, and he said, "Don't get scared." And he made me turn it up.
It was a holiday. Jake wasn't here, so T-Bob probably didn't care one way or the other.
He didn't care. He stays giving me heart attacks.
All right, to tease it a little bit going into break. Funny story coming out of an NBA team, and it happens to be the Dallas Mavericks. On Monday, the Mavericks revealed that they are raising season ticket prices for next year. The prices will go up about 9% next season, and the increase is due to ongoing investments into the team and increased fan engagement. What are you investing into the team? You just got rid of a top 5 player in the NBA who's only 25 years old, who, by the way, is thriving with the Los Angeles Lakers. We'll get into that a little bit later. Look, they said that if you're in club level, your tickets are going to rise more than 10% this year for season ticket holders as far as compared to last year. Terrace levels are going to go up $20 to $24 per game. And this is all to apparently future investments into the franchise. Forget the fact that you traded away your entire franchise. What did you get back? You got an Anthony Davis in return who had a good first game with you. He dropped 26 points. And what did Anthony Davis do after that? Well, he did what Anthony Davis does. He got hurt. He had a groin injury. He left, and he really hadn't played much since. And when you look at the NBA standings, at the time Luka Doncic was traded, the Mavericks were hovering on that 7-8 line. I mean, they were right there in the thick of it as far as playoff contention. Now, the Dallas Mavericks sit at the 10th spot, 32-30, so just 2 games over 500. In their last 10 games, they are 5-5. Jordan mentioned during break that the Pelicans will take on the Los Angeles Lakers tonight, and that's bad news for the Pelicans. Why?
Whoa. It's good news, actually. It's great news.
Okay, we'll get there.
It's actually great news.
The reason is because when you give LeBron James arguably the best player in the NBA, yeah, good things are going to happen. If you look at the Western Conference standings right now, look, it's OKC far and away. They're 50-11 right now. They're having an incredible season. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is probably going to run away with the MVP. He dropped another 50-burger last night. The Los Angeles Lakers are sitting in the 2 spot right now because they have the tiebreaker over the Denver Nuggets. They're 38-21. They are 8-2 in their last 10 games. It took Luka a little while to get going, but guess what? He's in playoff form already. LeBron James, his numbers this year, 26.5 points, 8.1 rebounds, 8.3 assists. That is better than in 2013 when he won the MVP award with the Miami Heat. He averaged about the same number of points, about a rebound and a half less per game, and a total assist less per game. LeBron James right now is playing better at the age of 40 than he was in his MVP season back in 2013 with the Miami Heat, and he has a top 5 player on his team as his wingman in Luka Doncic. And the Mavericks are going to sit there and be like, guys, we're investing into the future of this franchise. We want fan engagement to come back. Why did fan engagement leave again? Yeah, it's because you got rid of Luka Doncic. Look, when you look at the Western Conference standings, it's eye-opening. I mean, look, the Pelicans are terrible. We got that. We'll get into them in just a second. But the Lakers have a complete turnaround. I mean, they were almost out of the playoff. They were about the 7 spots. I mean, they were kind of right there with the Mavericks. They have exploded the last few games. They're on a 6-game winning streak. Again, 8-2 in their last 6 games. They're not slowing down. Do I think the Lakers can make it to the NBA Finals? No, I do not. Here's why. They don't have quite the firepower top to bottom roster that an Oklahoma City Thunder do. The Thunder are also a lot younger, even with Luka Doncic. Also, if they take on the Denver Nuggets, they don't have that post player. Remember, they tried to trade for Mark Williams. Mark Williams did not pass his physical, so the Lakers reneged on that trade. If they had Mark Williams, a post player, a dominant guy down low, I would feel completely different about this team. They don't have that. I mean, Jackson Hayes right now is still your primary post player. If Jackson Hayes is your primary post player, you don't have a post player. I don't think the Lakers can win it, but look, the turnaround they have made, the trade they were able to dish out to get Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks, the fact that they're the 2 seed in the Western Conference, the fact that they've won 6 games in a row, that's impressive nonetheless. And it just goes to show the incompetence of the Dallas Mavericks, because I mentioned that they were 5-5 in their last 10 games. They're on a 2-game losing streak. They don't really have any signs of life. Anthony Davis is in and out of the lineup. Kyrie Irving is carrying this entire team. And the Mavericks have the audacity to be like, well, yeah. And there you go. And then, you know, Anthony Davis, he's still in and out of the lineup. And you're going to have the audacity to be like, guys, we have to have a 9% ticket increase. I mean, you want us to invest in the future of the franchise. We don't have any star players.
They
this is what it's going to take.
the future of the franchise.
They have the future of the franchise for the next 10 years. Luka Doncic is 25 years old. And you're going to go to your fans.
He's not even fat.
No, he's not fat. That's just what he looks like. He's looked like that his entire career. I make fun of Zion Williamson all the time. I get it. I'm not a fan of Zion. I make fun of him all the time. Zion's dropped like 20 pounds since the start of the season. Guess what?
Great.
He still looks big, though. That's just how he looks.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic isn't fat either. Luka's going out there dropping triple doubles. You got to be in shape to do this. The Mavericks are slapping their fan base in the face, just saying, hey, we got to increase prices. We want you guys to come back. We want to increase fan engagement. You had it. You were a team that made it to the NBA Finals a year ago. You were 2 games away from winning the damn thing. You had the future of the league. You had a top 5 player who was in his physical prime. He was 24 years old last season. He's sitting there at 25, and you got rid of him for Anthony Davis and Max Christie? Are you kidding me right now? And you're going to increase ticket prices by 10%? Absolutely not.
You're forgetting the 2029 draft picks.
You're right. I apologize.
Like, what are we talking about?
They have a draft pick 4 years from now that I'm sure is going to turn out to be like an average NBA player in the future. You're absolutely right. My apologies. Maybe Nico Harrison does know what he's doing. And then you're going to raise ticket prices for franchise investment and fan engagement, which you already had both of these things. No, this is an awful look for the Dallas Mavericks. It's awful for the NBA. And the Los Angeles Lakers pulled a highway robbery on this. Again, they sit there at the 2 seed in the Western Conference. Jordan, your New Orleans Pelicans sit there at the 15 seed. They are, don't worry, they're only 33 games back from the Oklahoma City Thunder for the number 1 spot. So bang up job by them as well. Alondra's San Antonio Spurs sit there
right
at
above
13,
the Pels.
Which, golly, there's a big gap between the Spurs and the Pelicans.
Yeah.
There's an 8-game difference between that 1 spot. Guys, I watched 2 basketball games last night, one of which was Houston and Kansas. It was a phenomenal game. The Houston Cougars are one of the best teams in college basketball. The other game I watched was the Duke Blue Devils against the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. And I'm not one for hyperbole, but at least in the past 10 years, Cooper Flagg might be the best college basketball player I have seen. He's 6'9". He can run the floor. He can be your primary ball handler. He's one of the best passers on the court. He hit a step-back three in a guy's face 2 different times last night. And, he was just kind of toying with Wake Forest in the first half. He had 10 points. He finished with 28, and that's because they pulled him off the court with about 4.5 minutes to go. He could have had over 30, no problem. Whoever gets the number 1 pick in this NBA draft lottery is going to have a franchise-changing player.
The Utah Jazz.
The Utah Jazz right now have the best odds to do so. Yes, yeah, I mean, that's 100%. And they're doing the most obvious tank job. You go look at their injury report. Any given game, Clarkson's out. Any of these starters.
They just played the Pelicans on Sunday.
And it's always like they're out with an illness. They're day-to-day. They're a game-time decision. They're not even telling you what's wrong with these guys. It'll work out if they get Cooper Flagg because he is legit. Would he be great with the Pelicans? Yeah, but, the Pelicans have had the number 1 pick 2 different times, and it didn't work out either time. I don't want to do this because I see her smirking over there in the corner.
Cooper Flagg.
Cooper Flagg on the San Antonio Spurs.
Listen,
he's going to the Spurs.
Crazier things have happened odds-wise. Just let me give you a potential lineup here, okay?
Castle.
And I don't care who plays center. Center doesn't matter. You're going to have a backcourt of De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle. Okay?
Wemby.
What mean center don't
Wemby up front.
Wemby can play wherever.
Wemby can play wherever. They got one of the best guys in the league.
Victor Wembanyama at the 4, the 5, wherever. You're going to have Cooper Flagg, who's one of the best all-around players in college basketball right now. You're going to have Jeremy Sohan coming off of the bench.
Which he needs to be. Well, actually, now that we're tanking, he needs to stay on the bench.
Okay, so a lot of times I just look at it like
Mitch Johnson is really mismanaging this roster really terribly, and it was before the whole tank thing happened.
It was.
Anyways.
I kind of look at it, though, like I don't necessarily hate when a player like Sohan's on the bench just because if you're making a mass substitution, kind of look at it like a line change in hockey. Sohan's the leader of that 2 group. Whether he's in the starting lineup, he plays a ton of minutes.
But it could be Vassell.
It could be. That's what I'm saying. The Spurs have options. They're a player away. Are the Pelicans a player away? No. Do I want the Pelicans to have the number 1 overall pick? I do. But I got to be honest, I don't know how much it's going to matter, Jordan.
It's not going to.
I literally said the number 1 pick is going to the Jazz.
No, it will.
I'm not even fixing like I said, I do the Pelicans. I'm not even fixing my eyes toward. The immediate fix for the Pelicans is Dylan Harper. You don't have a point guard. DeJounte Murray's out.
Dylan Harper's a great player. I would be happy with Dylan Harper as a Pelicans
Cooper
fan.
Flagg, he would be great, but that's not really what we need at the moment. We need a point guard. Our point guard is going to be out till 2026. It's the beginning of 2025.
Look, we're gonna see what happens with this. Look,
but Cooper Flagg is going to Salt Lake City. He's going to Salt Lake City.
He's going to be number 1 pick.
Yeah.
I took time to watch his first game at Duke. Okay, I was like, let me make sure I watch this. And he was good, but at times he looked like a freshman playing in his first game.
He's 17.
Last night,
I'm
at home. Young. I had the evening off. I was like, Duke, Wake Forest was coming back on. I was like, I'm going to make it a point to sit down and watch this entire game. He's better than even I thought he was. He is a phenomenal player. Whoever gets the number 1 pick is going to have a franchise-changing player. All right, look, we got to take a quick timeout. On the other side of things, NFL segment I want to hit here real quick. Look, everyone says Cam Ward's going to be the number 1 pick in this draft, the number 1 quarterback off the board if he's not number 1. Is Shedeur Sanders still QB2? We'll get into that coming up here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench.
The All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. If you're buying new, if you're leasing, if you're renting, and we've been telling you over the last couple of weeks, and next week is here, but if you've got a trip for Mardi Gras break, it is not too late. Call Miss Lisa Sessions today in the rental department, and if you need a midsize SUV, a full-size SUV, van, truck, hybrid, sedan, doesn't matter. Everything's available in that rental process, so make sure to get that done. But of course, if you're buying new or leasing, well, actually, maybe not leasing. Maybe you go some places and you only have like 3 options, 1 in each category. That's not the case over at All-Star. T-Bob and I have both taken full advantage of the rental process, leasing a vehicle, buying new. All 3, everything's going to be available. And we always tell you they have something for everybody. No matter what your needs are, what your family's needs are, They have got you taken care of. So go check out the full selection of vehicles at All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Jace Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111, your law firm for a lifetime.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge.
Welcome back to the best morning sports show around. Sorta. It's Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
TrashRangers.com, TrashRangers.com. Bottom left of the website, you can sign up for residential service. Right in the middle of the website, commercial service. And then in the bottom right, sign up for that roll-off dumpster. Now, if you don't know what size roll-off dumpster you need, you've got a project at your home or your business, you pick up the phone, you give Trash Rangers a call. That is 225-363-9053. Hey, here's what I got going on. What do you think I need? And they're going to make sure you have the right size dumpster for your job. And look, I am jealous if you get to work with Trash Rangers because so many different things that they do for you, the customer. That's what they're all about. And that's why they're in the community so many different times. And you'll see them, support youth baseball teams, basketball, like whatever it is. They're all about you. Reliable and hassle-free trash removal services here in South Louisiana. Again, go to the website today to sign up, TrashRangers.com.
Welcome back into Off
What are you
the
laughing
Bench.
at?
I don't know what song I was expecting. It just wasn't this one. I don't know why. It was funny. All right, welcome back in to Off the Bench. Look, the NFL draft is coming up, and whether he's the first overall pick or a second, third, whatever, it doesn't really matter where he's going to be drafted. Every single NFL GM is now bananas over Cam Ward. They think Cam Ward's going to be the number one quarterback taken in this NFL draft. And for a lot of times, it seemed like, okay, there's a clear 1 and 2, right? It's Cam Ward number 1, Shedeur Sanders number 2. That may not be the case anymore. A report came out that it looks like now, CBS Sports put this out, that some GMs believe that as far as big boards, Shedeur Sanders could be the 24th best player in this draft is what they believe. Now, some people still have him as the number 2 quarterback. 2 things here. 1, how far will Shedeur Sanders fall? Because, okay, some are saying it's Abdul Carter, number 1. Some are saying the Giants are going to trade with the Titans to get the number 1 pick and take Cam Ward. Abdul Carter is going to be in there in the top 5. Travis Hunter is going to be in there in the top 5. Shedeur Sanders has been linked to the Raiders for quite some time now, but what if they pass at 6, or what if they trade down? How far could Shedeur Sanders fall? Now, you just heard Nick a minute ago talking about if Shedeur Sanders is there when the Saints pick, he doesn't believe they're going to take him. I don't believe they're going to take him either. But beyond that, not just how far will Shedeur Sanders fall in this draft. Is Shedeur Sanders still QB2? All the rage this weekend was about Jackson Dart. He had an excellent combine, and honestly, there's people that believe he could be QB2. I was a little hesitant on this, but when you look at the resume, it kind of makes sense. I mean, Dart was a 3-year starter in the SEC. He played in a lot of big games. Now, if you go back and look at those big games, there was mixed performances in there, to say the least, for Jackson Dart. But look, he's played in an elite conference against a lot of elite defenses. He's played in big-time games. Not only did he improve as a passer every single year, he's also the more mobile of the two between him and Shedeur Sanders. So if you're looking for a mobile quarterback, not that Cam Ward is either. Cam Ward's not necessarily a mobile quarterback, but okay, if you go look at what he did running-wise, in 2024, he had 495 yards rushing. Now, only 3 rushing touchdowns, but in 2023, another 400 yards rushing, 8 rushing touchdowns. Jackson Dart can take off and run. The NFL game is going more and more towards that. You're seeing that. I mean, look at the Philadelphia Eagles are a prime example. They just won the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts as their starting quarterback. Also, Shedeur Sanders has good numbers, but look at what Jackson Dart did. His first year at Ole Miss, 2,900 yards, 20 touchdowns, 11 picks. Kind of an average season. In 2023, he improved his completion percentage by 3 whole percentage points, 3,300 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 picks. And again, he had the 8 touchdowns to go along with it as well, so 31 total touchdowns. Last year, 69.3% completion percentage, 4,200 yards, 29 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Jackson Dart has gotten better in every aspect of the quarterback position for 3 years in a row now. Now, how much of that is Lane Kiffin's offense? It's very quarterback friendly, but when you go look at Jackson Dart, again, he's been in a lot of big games. This is not Shedeur Sanders' fault. Because look, when you look at Shedeur's raw numbers, they're very good. His first year at Colorado, 2023, 69% completion, 27 touchdowns, 3 picks. Last year he had 10 picks, but they threw the ball a whole lot more. 74% completion percentage, 4,100 yards for Shedeur Sanders, 37 touchdowns. So Shedeur had a really good year in his own right. The issue is, and again, this is not Shedeur Sanders' fault, I mentioned all the great defenses that Jackson Dart played, all the big-time games he's played in. Shedeur Sanders hasn't really played in a big game. Now, in 2023, he played some good teams, but, I mean, they weren't ready to compete in 2023. Oregon blew the doors off of them. You know, same thing with Washington, all that. In terms of big-time, down-to-the-wire games, there wasn't a ton. I mean, they beat Baylor early in the year, but that Baylor team, I mean, you know, they were kind of a middle-of-the-road team. LSU saw them in the bowl game. They're fine, but that might be the biggest game that Shedeur Sanders played in 2024. Again, it's not his fault, but when you're drafting a guy that high, you got to make sure that he can perform when the lights come on. Shedeur put up the numbers. I just don't know how good the defenses were that he faced. And honestly, to that point, should Cam Ward be first? Because I got to be honest, if I was drafting between Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, I'm probably taking Shedeur Sanders. I just think he looked a little bit better in college. Now, he held on to the ball too long, but you could honestly say all the critiques you hear And all the criticisms I just made about Shedeur Sanders, you can kind of say the same thing about Cam Ward. I don't think there's a bona fide number one player as far as the quarterback position. But Jackson Dart's rising. Shedeur seems to be falling a little bit. We'll see what happens with Cam Ward. Because a lot of people believe, Shedeur and Cam Ward are both bona fide top 5 picks. That may not be the case. We'll have to see when the NFL draft rolls around. All right, look, we're going to take our final time out of this Tuesday edition of Off the Bench. When we get back, we're going to close it out like we do every day with some Ask the Bench.
Off the Bench.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
You gotta believe in the dream. Believe. You gotta believe in the dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Jace Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them.
It's like the bottom of the ninth, and I'm never gonna win this. Life hasn't turned out quite the way I want it to be.
Welcome in to the best morning sports-ish show around. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Welcome back into the final segment of a Tuesday edition of Off the Bench. Guys, we have had a heck of a busy show today. I mean, we were wall-to-wall sports for the most part. Alondra Jordan. Where did the first Mardi Gras parade take place?
Mobile, Alabama.
Jordan, what's your answer?
Mobile, Alabama.
The answer is, Alondra knew it. It's Mobile, Alabama. Yeah. So, the tiff between Mobile and New Orleans on who created Mardi Gras. The reality is it doesn't matter. Because if you're in New Orleans, you do it so much better anyway. So does it really matter?
I never heard nobody be like, I'm going to Mobile for Mardi Gras. So, I mean, that's cool. Y'all have y'all little...
So I actually accidentally went to Mobile for Mardi Gras one time. We were just taking a beach trip because you're in Louisiana.
Accident, though.
So if you're in Louisiana... I mean, we had to drive through Mobile.
Yeah.
She got some okay Mardi Gras float. Nah, it's not on New Orleans' level, but they're not too bad. Okay, look, closing out the show as we do every day with a little Ask the Bench. Ask the Bench, if you were a Mardi Gras float, how would you be decorated?
Oh, that's a good question, man.
I don't know.
Damn. I would have like a big baby on it. Just a big black baby. With with like some liquor in his hand, like for the bottle. Like we are turned with some chains, put some chains on the baby.
Be a baby?
Just really significant. Oh. It really significant. Whatever the word I'm looking for. It's just gonna really put tides all together, like when you find a baby in the king cake. So yeah. So we need just a big black baby night with a like a Gucci diaper on him.
Okay.
Yeah. Just that's what I wanted. And then like everybody's gotta wear. Yeah. And everybody, like the bees were throwing, they got like little pacifiers on them. Yeah, we're lit. Yeah.
I'm just going to be a giant king cake. How about that?
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah,
I wanted to do something kind of out there and a little wild. Jordan got plenty wild for all of us.
We don't judge.
I'm just going to be a giant king cake. And what else I'm going to do is quickly move on to our next Ask the Bench question. Ask the Bench, anyone watching T-Bob on Jim Rome? I actually personally have not.
I've caught it a couple times.
I saw his open, which was the most T-Bob thing I've ever seen. So if you haven't seen it, we actually played it on Friday after T-Bob had to dip out a little bit early. Jim Rome's introducing him, and T-Bob's like, I don't know whether I should play it cool or whether I should make a big splash. Our guy definitely made a big splash. He stands up, has a shirt with Chewbacca on it,
course.
Just screams the Chewbacca noise. That was his first intro to the world on the Jim Rome Show. Guys, T-Bob is uniquely him no matter where he is. I think that's the thing that I love about T-Bob the most. He doesn't care where he's at. He doesn't care who he's with. He's going to be T-Bob Hebert, and he's going to have himself a heck of a time.
Yeah.
I will say this. I love T-Bob, but I am an extreme hater of Disney adults. I think Disney adults need to just go into a cave and set it ablaze.
See, and you can feel that way, but why not just let them do them?
But respect, they can,
let them do them.
Okay, I'll say this, Elijah. I have an issue with the Disney adults. That's like bullying the little kids in the line. Like, we got fast passes. Like, dude, relax, man. Like, you're 35.
I've never seen anybody do that.
They're wild.
That's crazy.
They get physical. They'll get physical. They're not scared of confrontation. If you're willing to go outside in Mickey Mouse shorts, you're scared of no confrontation on this planet.
I don't actually disagree
with
you.
What about SpongeBob shorts?
Oh, we got a guy.
What about Patrick?
Yeah, Patrick Starr.
Hashtag Ask the Bench. How much do you guys miss T and Jake?
Okay, so we all know that I obviously love y'all more than y'all love me. I miss them so much. I was just in New York, so I only got them for 2 days, and then T-Bob, I only got him for a day and a half because he left early, and now they're gonna be gone for a week, so I miss them very much. I actually have grown way too attached to all of y'all.
I miss Jake.
I get FOMO when I'm gone.
T-Bob harasses me, but me and Jake, Mr. 18, we just keep it real cool.
I will say, when I was in Nashville doing the CMAs, that T-Bob texted the group chat a couple times Alondra, can you please get back already? And that warmed my heart. Because I feel like y'all don't care when I'm gone.
I think everybody should, be allowed to take off whenever you can.
Yeah.
I love it. Look, I don't mind filling in. It is a lot of work, but
you like it though.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I do. I love it. Am I ready for him to get back? Yeah, probably. Just because only because I enjoy doing this. I like the show dynamic that we have.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like, look, like Jordan said earlier, y'all may think that me and T-Bob are at odds a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that Jake and Alondra are very similar. And maybe not the things we're into. Like, you know, we're all sports all the time. T-Bob's more Lord of the Rings. I think me and T-Bob are a little similar. And I think Alondra and Jake are very similar. I think that dynamic works well together. We all know how to play off of each other. And a lot of times, four voices can be a lot on the radio. I mean, every now and then you'll turn on a show and you just hear a bunch of people talking. You don't really know who they are. You don't really know what they're saying. This is the most crowded show on ESPN because it's the only show where we have daily co-hosts. I think we do a really good job at that. So, yeah, I actually do miss them. I'm ready for them to get back. All right, look, that's going to do it for a Tuesday edition of Off the Bench. Jam-packed show today. Look, we led with LSU spring football. Want to kind of break down a position every day for the remainder of the week. We'll do one per show. Jace LeJuene of Gridiron Football came on. He gave me his thoughts of LSU spring practice as they open things up on Saturday. Talked a lot of New Orleans Saints, whether it's the future of Tyrann Mathieu, the possible safeties you can bring in. Nick Underhill hopped on, talked about their first-round picks. Nick's kind of set on whether it's Ashton Genty or Tyler Warren. It might surprise a lot of people, but hey, I mean, they're both heck of players anyways. Talked a little NBA, even some LSU basketball and LSU baseball thrown in there. Look, I'm in for the remainder of the week. Tomorrow, look, we're going to recap an LSU baseball game. If there's a baseball game to be had, I'm sure I will be regrettably recapping another LSU basketball game. We're going to continue our discussion.
Is that a threat?
On LSU spring football. Obviously, we're going to do more and more combine stuff. I'm going to give you my winners and losers of the NFL combine. We'll have all of that and a whole lot more. Again, want to thank Jace LeJuene and Nick Underhill for hopping on today. That's going to do it for us here on Off the Bench.
We love you guys.
We'll see you tomorrow here on OTB.
Off the Bench.